at Moscona.
And here we go.
ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios. That's right.
And off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR presented by Insurance Network of Louisiana. I'm Matt.
This is Shaq O'Neal, and I hate Matt.
Joe Rodriguez.
Hey, Joe, what you doing?
And the Brain.
And the Brain got a poop.
And Mr. Toby Topley. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. A lot to get to. Larry Holder later this hour. We will get to Lee Feinswag next hour. Rohan Davey in studio, hour number 3. So the Saints went out to Sin City and came away losers. If you were listening to the show on Monday, I felt very confident about this team because the Saints are a better team. And I believe at the end of the season, it's going to prove to be the case. The Saints are better than the Raiders. They'll have a better record. They'll have a better finish. They'll go further than the Raiders will. The Saints are a better team than Las Vegas. But it's the NFL, and it's the old adage, and it's cliche, but it's in any given Sunday league. And if you don't show up ready to play, you're going to get embarrassed. And the Saints didn't show up yesterday ready to play, and they got embarrassed. So there's a lot to dissect, and we're going to unpack all of it. And, you know, one symptom of NFL fans is always that they tend to overreact after a game. So I'm going to try today to be tempered, but realistic. Because if we're being honest with ourselves, what we watched yesterday exposed some very glaring concerns for this team. And we're going to talk about those here over the course of the show today. But I think what I want to do is certainly discuss not only what transpired last night, but also big picture and looking ahead. So let me start, though, with a little bit of perspective. Last year, a year ago at this point, after week 2, remember where the Saints were. They needed really a miracle comeback to beat Houston. Will Lutz hits the walk-off field goal. Then they go on the road to L.A., and they get hammered by the Rams, and Drew Brees gets injured in the process. And we're all looking at this team at 1-1, Drew Brees injured, thinking, oh no, this is the scenario we all dreaded. And that team finished 13-3, won the division going away. New Orleans has not been 2-0 since 2013. Let me say that again. The New Orleans Saints have not started a season 2-0 since 2013. So it's hard for me to sit here today and unequivocally say they stink and the season's over. Because things looked much more bleak a year ago at this point. I could argue in 2018, when the Saints lost week 1 to Fitzmagic 48-40 in the Dome to the Bucs and Ryan Fitzpatrick. And that team went to the NFC Championship game, was 13-3, and won the division. 2017, Saints started 0-2. Do you remember that? They started the season at Minnesota. Sam Bradford was NFL Offensive Player of the Week after playing the Saints. A week later, at home against New England, Tom Brady, NFL Offensive Player of the Week after playing the Saints defense. That team won 11 games, went to the playoffs, made it to the divisional round, Minneapolis Miracle. My point is, we've seen the Saints have moments like this early in seasons, even a year ago, each of the last 3 years, and they've rebounded. They've hit their stride. Maybe the Saints are kind of like a fighter that starts slow. Some fighters take a few rounds to get their timing, to kind of work themselves into a lather, and then they hit their stride. Maybe that's what this Saints team is right now. And maybe part of that's exacerbated by the fact that they had a modified offseason, etc. the thing that's so disappointing about the loss is, especially in this year, where the Saints' ambition is Super Bowl or bust, everyone is saying that, we know it. When your ambition is Super Bowl or bust, we can all agree that if the road to the Super Bowl goes in the NFC, goes through New Orleans, the advantage is to New Orleans. And when I look at the number 1 seed this year, understanding that's the only team that's getting a bye, it's even more important to get that 1 seed. And to do that, you got to win the games you're supposed to win. And the Saints were supposed to win that game last night on the road against the Raiders, and they didn't. So this happens. This happens in the NFL every year. Do you remember a year ago? The Saints, coming off their bye a year ago, are playing Atlanta in the Dome. And Atlanta was not a good team a year ago. And the Saints got absolutely strangled by Atlanta in the Dome coming off their bye. We talked about how good the Saints under Sean Payton had been coming off the bye. Saints lost 26-9, listless, lifeless, awful a year ago against Atlanta. I mean, a game like that could cost you the 1 seed. That cost you home field advantage in the playoffs. That's why what happened last night was so significant. Some observations from the game. And I'll give you 3 plays from the first half that I think completely changed the complexion of the game. 1, opening drive of the ball game. The Saints were methodical. They're going right down the field on that Raiders defense. They get a 3rd and 3 from the Raider 13. Drew Brees throws over the middle to Traquan Smith. He drops it. Yes, he got hit, but you're an NFL receiver. You're a 3rd-round draft pick that everyone has been waiting to ascend, and now the pressure is even greater with no Michael Thomas, and you choked. You choked in that moment. Saints settle for a field goal. That's a 4-point swing. Catch that ball, you're 1st and goal inside the 5. Instead, he drops it, and the Saints settle for a field goal. 4-point swing. The second I'd give you on the Raiders' first scoring drive, Marshawn Lattimore missed a tackle in the left flat on 3rd and 10, where Brian Edwards, former South Carolina prospect, caught the ball in the left flat. I don't know if Lattimore was trying to jump the route, what he was doing, but it's 3rd and 10. Let him catch and tackle, push him out of bounds. Lattimore missed it. Edwards goes up the sideline for 20 yards. Las Vegas ends up scoring a touchdown on that drive. 7-point swing right there. Even if you stop them there, they have to attempt a 50-some-odd yard field goal. No gimme. But so let's give them the 3 points and call it a 4-point swing right there. And then Drew Brees' interception before half. I mean, even if the Saints don't come away with points, you gifted them 3 at the end of the half. Those are winning plays that you have to make to win the game, especially on the road in the NFL. And the Saints didn't make them, and that's disappointing. I know everyone's talking about Drew Brees. The thing about pushing the ball down the field that everyone's talking about today, like his air yards and everything are the lowest in the NFL, like how far the ball travels in the air on his attempts, I don't care. Because that's not been a part of the Saints offense, really, since Devery Henderson. I mean, I know they had Ted Ginn and they would push the ball downfield at times, but let's get real, man. It's not like this has been an air-it-out offense. I mean, Brees dinks and dunks, and he just surgically tears you apart because he's so accurate. That's been the bigger problem for me. And there was a play last night in the 3rd quarter after Richard fumbled around midfield where Drew Brees had Josh Hill. And I'm not going to say that he was wide open, but Josh Hill, middle of the field, running across toward the left flat, and he had a linebacker on him, but he was open. And that's a throw we've seen Brees make so many times throughout his career, and he just missed him. And that's the kind of thing. Last night I'm watching that game, and I thought, ooh. Because that's the kind of play Drew Brees has always made throughout his Hall of Fame career and made a year ago when he completed 74% of his passes to set an NFL record. And if you're not going to stretch a defense, that's the throw you have to make this offense work. Offensive line was better. Remember, against Tampa, 11 tackles for loss and a sack last night. Not a single tackle for loss from the Raiders. Not a single sack allowed. Brees was hit 7 times, but they were better last night. Sean Payton, though, refuses to commit to the run, but that's Sean. That's what he's been for as long as he's been here. Only 19 rush attempts, 38 pass attempts last night. When you're trying to give your defense a rest, balance, running the ball. We talk about it all the time, but Sean isn't that guy. He's the same guy that'll throw a challenge flag late in the game on a clear reception, cost himself a timeout because he's acting like a pissed off teenager. Wouldn't you love to have had that timeout late in the ball game? But that's Sean. And I always say, you take the good with the bad with Sean. That bravado, that attitude, whatever that is that causes him to foolishly throw that challenge flag, that's the same thing that's lent the Saints so many benefits throughout the years. Running a trick play late in the game week 1 to ice it against Tampa, right? I mean, that's the same. Wherever that feeling is in his body, whatever gene that is, it's the same thing. And you take the good with the bad. The penalties, 10 for 129 yards, are brutal. Most of them, I think, were really good calls. I hate some of the rules. The 15-yarder on Trey Hendrickson for hitting Carr in the face. It's just, what are you going to do, man? That's the rule. It's a stupid rule, but it's the rule. Cam Jordan's horse collar, I thought, was awful. He let up. That should not have been a flag. Did not take the ball carrier to the ground with the horse collar. He got his hand in there and then took it out. I hated the Emmanuel Sanders blindside block. That's the new rule. I don't know what do you want people to do? Like box out like a basketball player? I mean, what are you supposed to do to prevent that guy from coming to make a play? It's an impossible situation. I hate it. The defensive pass interference at the end of the game on Jenkins was probably a good call, but I hate that that's a strategy in the NFL where John Gruden knows we're probably not going to complete this pass. It's a low percentage pass, but we're probably going to be able to draw a flag. And that's crappy. That's not how I want to see the game won or lost. I want to see players making plays, not putting into the hands of an official on a subjective call, but that's really what that came down to. But that's not what won or lost the game for New Orleans. There's a lot of bad. There's good. I mentioned the offensive line was better. Alvin Kamara has been electric through a couple of weeks so far. Trey Hendrickson has been such a nice surprise on the defensive line. I shouldn't even call it a surprise because he's been a really good player, but his relative dominance has been a surprise, maybe even outshining Cam Jordan a bit so far through 2 games. But I'll remind you of this as the Saints head to week 3. I referenced last year where the Saints, week 2 on the road, lost to the Rams. They had lost Drew Brees to injury. Knew he was going to be out for a while, 5 weeks, whatever it was going to be. We didn't know at the time how long it was going to be. And things looked bleak, and they had to go on the road to play Seattle. That looked like a devastating draw at that point in the schedule. And the Saints went on the road, and despite the fact that Russell Wilson threw for 400 yards, the Saints won that game 33-27, and everybody perked up a bit. It was like they had to focus and hone in, and they did. Well, similar scenario now. You went on the road. You had a really disappointing loss. You're without one of your star players. Now it's Michael Thomas. Now you're coming home, and you have a giant challenge with Green Bay coming in. And Aaron Rodgers has looked awesome through 2 weeks. So do the Saints laser focus in now with Green Bay coming in on Sunday Night Football? It's a great opportunity for the Saints against an NFC contender to assert itself among the hierarchy in the NFC coming off a really disappointing loss. Our concerns are there, and I don't think there's any question about that. But how valid are they? How much can they alleviate? We'll find out on Sunday night. Short week, quick turnaround for New Orleans, but they don't have a choice. Got to go get this win against Green Bay on Sunday night. All right, it's After Further Review. Glad to have you aboard with us here. We'll talk more about it with Larry Holder in 15 minutes. We'll just flip things like we do here on Wednesdays because Larry has to join us at 3:15. So when we come back, we'll go around the SEC. If you want to get your reaction into Saints Raiders, feel free to do it. You know how. You can email me, Matt at 1045ESPN.com. Tweet me at Matt Moscona at 1045ESPN, or you can jump in the Bayou Ford chat on the 1045 ESPN YouTube channel. Lots of ways you can get involved. Glad you're with us here. Stick around on AFR.
AFR.
Think real estate? Think Darren James. Agent225.com. Agent225.com. Commercial, residential, buying, or selling. If you need to sell your home, call Darren James and get your home sold. Do what I did. When Erica and I sold our home, Darren listed it. He had buyers lined up ready to buy our home. Literally the first people that looked at it made an offer and bought our home. When it comes to us buying a home, Darren was so patient. Like, the time that was best for us to look was like Saturday morning. So Darren met us on a Saturday morning. He had all of our showings lined up. We went around, found the place we were looking for. If you're buying or selling, call Darren James. Think real estate, think Darren James. 335-7666, 335-7666, or agent225.com, agent225.com. Remember, working with Darren obligates you to nothing. If at any point you're not thrilled, he'll let you out of contract free and clear, but you won't. Think real estate, think Darren James.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
Hello?
What's up, E? What you doing?
Chilling at the office working. You?
Hanging at the job site. Chilling.
Roof's up?
Hey, Greg, roof up? Roof's up. Roof's up.
Roof's up.
Roof's up?
Roof's up.
Roof's up! Roof's up! Beautiful roof every single time.
True. True.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Ochsner.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is a local bank with a straightforward philosophy.
It's about doing the right thing for our customers.
Participating in our community with annual local fundraisers, offering individual attention in a modern banking atmosphere with a trusted local company. Gulf Coast Bank invested in technology with a local touch, giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime.
We're building relationships through personal service as the bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Are you a licensed?
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Insurance Network of Louisiana. Call for a free quote to see how much you can save. 293-0450. After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
It doesn't change anything for me. Joe came in here and he did his thing, and what he did was great. And it's my turn now to do my thing and write my own story. So, I learned a lot from Joe, and I took things that he did well, and I used them to better myself. But the past is the past, and I'm looking forward to being able to play this season and on Saturday.
Miles Brennan met with reporters today, Tuesday, via Zoom. This is something we've talked about for so long now, but the reality is just a few days away. Miles Brennan is going to be LSU's starting quarterback. I mean, I know, as I mentioned, we've said it so many times over the years, and certainly in this offseason, we've known that this is Miles' time, but now it's days away. I mean, you're going to see number 15 under center starting, taking every snap for LSU, which dating back to his recruitment back in the 2017 signing period, which feels and sounds like forever ago in the context of LSU football, considering Brennan was, think about this, Brennan was recruited by Les Miles and Cam Cameron. Just let that be your perspective, right? Isn't that wild? That's the guy who recruited Miles Brennan, was Les and Cam, which feels like a lifetime ago. I mean, the LSU program has lived multiple life cycles since then. I mean, Les in the 2016 season starting the season and then getting fired, and then Ed as the interim, and then the flirtation with Jimbo and Tom Herman, and then Ed getting the job, and of course Miles signing then, but then going through everything that happened and the Troy loss and Miles coming in to start the second half and Matt Canada being the OC and then being fired, and then Ensminger with Jerry Sullivan. Then in comes Joe Brady, and Burrow gets the job, and McMillan and Narcisse transfer, and then it's just Joe and Miles, and they kind of keep Miles out in 2018 to preserve that year, and then the hierarchy was established in 2019, and now it's finally time, right? It's just, when you say it out loud, when you really start to think about it, it has been an incredible 4 years for Miles Brennan to get to this point. But it's all going to come to a head on Saturday, and that's really exciting. I mean, obviously I want LSU to win, always do, but it's a really fascinating subplot to this game is, all right, Miles, you waited 4 years. How's it going to go? And we'll start to get that answer on Saturday. We'll also find out on Saturday how the Dave Aranda era will begin at Baylor. They've had several openers now canceled. They were supposed to play Louisiana Tech. Louisiana Tech was disrupted because of Hurricane Laura, as we know. And then Baylor scrambled and scheduled a game against Houston, which then got postponed because of positive COVID tests at Baylor. Well, Dave Aranda said that they are confident they're going to play the game this weekend. And incidentally, so Dave Aranda's first game as the head coach at Baylor, first game as a head coach anywhere, is going to be against Kansas. And the man who hired him to come to Baton Rouge, Les Miles. So college football so often creates these crazy storylines, but Dave Aranda's first game as a head coach will be against Kansas and Les Miles in the Big 12. Baylor's a 16.5-point favorite in that ball game. The game will be played at McLean Stadium in Waco, but Les Miles and Kansas are 0-1 this year, having lost to Coastal. Dave Aranda will make his head coaching debut this weekend. Guys like George Munoz and Dennis Johnson, guys who left LSU with Dave Aranda to go to Baylor, will all make their season debut this weekend. So a lot of really interesting storylines. Of course, we're keeping an eye on the SEC starting play, but there's storylines that abound across college football as we move into week 4 coming up this weekend. All right, it is after further review. Larry Holder in about 5-7 minutes or so from right now. We'll get Larry's perspective on what happened with the Saints last night and how they move forward. Meantime, let's go around the SEC.
Around the SEC, presented by Gulf Coast Office Products, excellence in imaging solutions. The South Carolina Gamecocks.
South Carolina's depth chart at wide receiver has taken another hit just a few days before the season opener against Tennessee. Transfer Jalen Brooks, who was considered one of the Gamecocks standouts through preseason camp, he's had his request for a waiver for immediate eligibility denied by the NCAA. South Carolina is going to appeal that decision. So Brooks came to Carolina after 2 seasons at Division II Wingate and the spring semester at Tarleton State. He had been discussed as a potential starter for the Gamecocks. 6'3", 190, a big weapon for Carolina, not eligible.
The Vanderbilt Commodores.
So Vandy's football list of unavailable players for Saturday's game against A&M has grown. Starting linebacker Foleti Afumi, a junior, became the 6th Vanderbilt football player to opt out for the season. Last season, he started 10 games at linebacker for the Commodores defense. Linebacker Elijah McAllister, who was battling for a starting position, he's out with an injury until at least midseason. A couple of other players, cornerback B.J. Anderson and safety Brendan Harris, they're out with injury, while Michael Owusu has been quarantined due to contact tracing. Vandy had all 11 returning starters on defense to begin the season. That number is down to 7 now.
The Auburn Tigers.
Pair of freshman defenders will be out indefinitely for Auburn. Linebacker O.C. Brothers and freshman edge rusher Romello Height both had procedures for their shoulders this offseason. Both are still recovering, so both unavailable on Saturday. Meanwhile, Auburn freshman Jeremiah Wright, he's switched positions heading into the season opener against Kentucky. 6'5", 340, he signed with Auburn as an offensive lineman. He's now switched to the defensive line.
The Florida Gators.
And a week after announcing the program had 7 positive COVID tests, that number's leveled off there in Gainesville. 3 new cases in the last week, which means 10 positive cases in the month of September on 514 tests. Dan Mullen would not go into specifics on which players or position groups have currently been impacted by these COVID tests, but Florida should have plenty enough of a full roster to be able to play on Saturday. All right, there you have it. That is Around the SEC, presented by Gulf Coast Office Products. Shout out to our guy Trey Beal and our friends at Gulf Coast Office Products. If you're a business owner and you want to run more efficiently, and what business owner wouldn't, right? Gulf Coast Office Products can help. If you need office equipment, Gulf Coast Office Products. If it's copiers, scanners, fax machines, dynamic collaboration with the interactive whiteboard that I've told you about for so long, Gulf Coast Office Products, GCOPnet.com, GCOPnet.com for Gulf Coast Office Products. It is After Further Review. Glad you're hanging out with us here. Saints lose a disappointing disappointing road opener last night in Las Vegas, the opener of Allegiant Stadium there in Las Vegas, the NFL in Las Vegas. About 30 minutes from now, we are going to head to Las Vegas. There's actually a Louisiana-born sports bar operator in Las Vegas who hosted throngs of Saints fans who couldn't be in Allegiant Stadium last night. So we'll do that. We'll talk to Cody Tromboli coming up in about 30 minutes from right now. When we come back, though, Larry Holder covers the Saints and LSU for theathletic.com/New Orleans. He'll be with us. Uncle Larry's with us every Tuesday during football season. Want to get his take on what transpired last night out in the desert and how the Saints try to proceed. That's coming up. Glad you're here. It's AFR.
AFR.
Brought to you by Premier South Roofing and PremierSouthLA.com. You see those blue trucks all over, the trucks, the trailers, the signs and yards, commercial and residential businesses all over the greater Baton Rouge area and much of South Louisiana. So many people trust Premier South Roofing because Premier South Roofing has earned that trust. You go read the reviews and you see consistently why your friends and family and neighbors continue to call on Premier South Roofing. Listen, storms just obviously recently came through parts of our state, and so many times when that happens, you have opportunistic contractors that descend upon an area. They know work is there and work is plentiful, so they come to the area. But here's the problem. Let's say you hired Chuck in a truck who came in just after the storm, and they do the work, and then they're gone. What happens in 3 months if the work that they did doesn't hold up? Well, it's a problem. You'll never have to worry about that with Premier South Roofing. Baton Rouge, Lafayette, North Shore. PremierSouthLA.com.
If I built a van, it would do more than haul.
It would carry my entire business. I'd make it available in dozens. Make that thousands of configurations.
It would keep an eye on my fleet.
Get an eye out for danger.
If I built a van, I'd make it available in diesel and gas. And I'd build it right here in South Carolina.
Introducing the all-new Sprinter, starting at $33,790. Built in the USA. Mercedes-Benz. Vans. Born to run.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is a local bank with a straightforward philosophy.
It's about doing the right thing for our customers.
Participating in our community with annual local fundraisers, offering individual attention in a modern banking atmosphere with a trusted local company. Gulf Coast Bank invested in technology with a local touch, giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime.
We're building relationships through personal service as the bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Insurance Network of Louisiana, call for a free quote to see how much you can save. 293-0450. After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Wasn't good enough. I mean, we had momentum going our way early in the game, and ended up losing the way we did. This is something that we're going to turn on the film, and we have to grow rapidly. At this point, everybody's got their hand in it. I don't know how many penalties we ended up with, but that's something we can't do. Those are self-inflicted injuries that led to scores. That's points on the board that we can't have.
That was Cam Jordan after the Saints' disappointing loss last night in Las Vegas. Every Tuesday, we visit with Larry Holder, theathletic.com/New Orleans. He's good enough to jump aboard with us here to react and look forward. Larry, thanks for the time, man. How are you?
I'm good, Matt. How are you?
I'm good. As a Saints fan, certainly seen better days. So where do you fall on the spectrum of, yeah, we've seen this from the Saints before, and, oh, my God, this is the end that we all dreaded?
Look, I think that, and look, I heard your first segment, and you talked about Drew Brees. A lot of people are going to be looking in his direction. I really think that this is probably the first time to start a season where I could understand the hesitation to say, all right, Drew Brees is going to absolutely bounce back 1,000%. And I look at it not in terms of the air yardage like you were talking about, and that is, like you said, a hot stat right now. I look at it more in a stat that I came across on NFL's Next Generation Stats on NFL.com, where his expected completion percentage through the first 2 weeks was 73.1%, and his actual completion percentage is 64.7. I mean, the only two with bigger margins right now in the NFL as far as on the negative side is Carson Wentz at 8.9 and Dwayne Haskins at 10.6. The lack of completions shows me something to where he just doesn't feel comfortable. Whether Michael Thomas is in there or not, he is not himself at this point.
So do you think he could fix it?
I think it is fixable. I think that if he feels more comfortable behind the offensive line, I almost feel like he's a little shell-shocked back there where he feels like there might be more pressure on him than there might actually be, because I think the O-line played a little bit better this week than they did last week. And I also feel like he's not as agile moving around the pocket as he used to be. So, look, this is something we have to watch. We cannot just assume he's going to bounce back, even though we've seen him bounce back so many times. This is me the first time thinking, all right, this is really something I've got to pay attention to and not just assume good things are on the horizon.
Were the Saints' offensive line actually better last night, considering that they didn't allow a tackle for loss or a sack like was so plentiful against Tampa?
I think it showed that the Saints were able to run the football a little bit better early. I think they got derailed in the second half at the beginning once they had that drive where they had like 700 penalties, and then Las Vegas was able to kind of impose their own will offensively and kind of change the complexion of the game. But I do feel like that the offensive line improved, but I also feel like too that the Raiders aren't as good defensively as the Bucks are. So they should have been better. So I'm curious to see with some legitimate pass rushers, say with the Packers in week 3, how much trouble they have, because they're better on the edges rushing the passer than the Raiders are. So I'm curious to see how that pans out.
Larry Holder's our guest. Larry, we talked last year a lot about how Jared Cook maybe struggled early in the first half of the season because he needed time to get his timing down in the offense with Brees. Do you think the same is true with Emmanuel Sanders right now? Why it's been such a slow start for him in this offense?
I do. You look at how much time it takes for a wide receiver to really understand the offense. And I think maybe we were a little bit spoiled last year by watching Emmanuel Sanders jump from Denver to San Francisco and get acclimated right away.
He torched New Orleans.
Exactly. I don't think San Francisco's offense is as complex as the Saints' offense. And then when you have to make a pretty big deviation when Michael Thomas goes out and he's going to be out for the next, I don't know, I assume at least another game, maybe more. And the focus turns on him, and he's not totally acclimated. I feel like that was certainly something that probably hindered his performance, not just in week 1, but definitely in week 2.
Offense. We'll go to the defense in a second. Offensively, give me something good, and you can't say Alvin Kamara.
Then I shouldn't say anything. I mean, look, Traquan Smith had a pretty good game. You'd like to see him catch that ball that, like, he was in traffic, got drilled, dropped the ball in the first drive. But you at least saw something from him, and you hope you see that going forward. But outside of Kamara, it's really I thought the tackles might have played well. Andres Pete played a little bit better, but I mean, Kamara was the shining light, and without him, there would have been a massive trouble moving the football, because he was able to run it much better, and of course catch it like you typically would think he would. The Alvin Kamara of 2017, 2018.
He's on Twitter at Larry Holder, theathletic.com/New Orleans. Flip it over to the defensive side of the ball. Why? I'm so amazed that Cam Jordan was as ineffective as he was. Has there been a day, Larry, a game where he was that bad in a moment where he should have been so good?
I can't think of a time where he should have totally mismatched.
Yeah.
A number 3 right tackle. Like, I assumed he would go in and be gangbusters, and he just was not. And I put the stat on Twitter where through 3 quarters he had no pressures, and guess what? By the end of the game, he had no pressures, which is really remarkable. Look, Trey Hendrickson was able to play well pretty early, but of course the whole defense tailed off later. But I thought in this moment this should have been an all-pro player. Cam Jordan could have excelled here, and that didn't happen. And so, but I just think that was one example of a systemic debacle by an entire defense who saw the scoreboard was 17-7 and just assumed, Raiders are going to lay down. We can cruise through this. No, anything but.
It was so stunning, that part of the game. And I'm not going to crush Cam Jordan. He's an all-pro, and he's awesome. It was just clearly an off night and one I didn't see coming at all. Everyone also conveniently today is crushing Malcolm Jenkins. Where do you fall on what we saw last night from not only Jenkins but the entire secondary?
I just think they had no plan for Darren Waller, and they should have had a better one and knew he was going to be their biggest weapon catching the football. They've got two rookie receivers, and Ruggs was banged up. Nelson Aguilar was not a big-time weapon. They all knew the game would be Jacobs and the game would be Waller. They were able to at least slow down Jacobs, but they couldn't man up one-on-one on Waller. I mean, they tried Malcolm Jenkins. They tried P.J. Williams. They tried C.J. Gardner-Johnson. They tried a few other players sporadically, and no one had any answers for him. He's a really good player, but you just don't expect that from a defense that should be better covering, and we've seen them be better covering. Now, granted, Malcolm Jenkins was not brought onto this defense to regularly cover guys. Like, that's not what he should be doing. His role later in the years with the Eagles was not that. And so you have to wonder, why was Dennis Allen putting him in those situations when those weren't his strengths? And the one time he actually broke up a pass, it was almost, if he didn't get his paw on the ball, that would have been caught and gone, and the game would have been even worse for Jenkins in the secondary.
Yeah, it was house call. There's no doubt. That was a great play. All right, look forward with me if you would. So you heard my open where I alluded to a similar situation where we were feeling very similar a year ago at this point with no Drew Brees coming off the loss to L.A. and then went to Seattle and won. Am I being too optimistic to think, okay, well, here comes Green Bay. Let's see the Saints sort of rally the troops and go beat the Packers on Sunday Night Football, get this train back on the tracks?
I don't think you're being too optimistic. Look, I think that every year we see the Saints have a stinker for the Hoodats. Hopefully that this was it in a game that was an AFC opponent and wouldn't really crush you in the playoffs. The Packers, I think the Saints know that they need to win this game. 13-3, they finished behind them in the playoff rankings last year. And look, maybe there was a little bit of a, boy, we're pretty good. We're believing in ourselves after beating Tampa and kind of had a letdown. I mean, we've seen them have letdowns in games before, not often, but sometimes. And so, I think that if they're able to get pressure on Aaron Rodgers, if they're able to slow down Aaron Jones, who's really been a monster, and look, they're still favored to win this game despite having played pretty bad. And look, the Raiders are also 2-0. So I don't think you're being too optimistic. I think you're being more realistic, saying, all right, look, this team can bounce back. They're still a very good team. But we've seen the Packers, and they're looking really good. So no dome atmosphere. You never know what's really going to happen without a crowd noise really affecting you. Let's see if the Saints can kind of regain some of that juice that they have in week one in the dome.
I miss our Uncle Larry story time. Can we start doing that again?
I have to do stupid things. I haven't done too many stupid things lately, maybe I've told my fill of stupid things that I could say like on the air. I feel like I could get away with this on your Whiskey and Wine postgame show. Maybe not on terrestrial radio. That's part of it.
Or maybe the challenge is for you to figure out a way to creatively clean up the stories that you could certainly tell here. I don't think we have time right now, Brain. He's playing your Uncle Larry music.
I do appreciate the music. It makes my heart a flutter because I do like making a fool of myself.
Larry, listen, man. I mean, the entirety of the Houdat Nation needs a little levity right now. I mean, could you give us an appetizer?
I don't feel like I've done well. All right, I guess a couple of weeks ago,
okay.
I was playing tennis, and instead of throwing the racket in haste, I decided to smash it against my face, and the bottom throat of the racket, instead of hitting my head, hit myself in the nose and gave myself a bruised nose. And I'm 40 years old, and so that had nothing to do with just anything. Just ill times, bad night, and I smashed myself in the face. So
you know what?
Pretty bad.
I think that's exactly the remedy we needed right now. It's not going to cure it's not going to cure all the ills, but it's a moment of levity to laugh at your stupidity, to momentarily take our minds off of what happened last night out in the big Roomba in the desert. So thank you for that.
It makes you feel like all things can be normal again. Just a little bit.
And in 2020, we desperately need that. Thank you, Larry. TheAthletic.com/New Orleans. Go read his stuff. Follow him on Twitter @LarryHolder. Thanks, Larry.
All right, Matt. See you, buddy.
All right, man. It's after further review. We'll knock out a quick break. Wrap up hour number 1 when we come back. Stick around.
AFR.
Brought to you by Insurance Network of Louisiana. They're online at lainsurance.net, lainsurance.net. Title sponsor of our Tuesday shows all throughout the year. Jay, Adam, Carl, all the guys over at Insurance Network of Louisiana, and the gals as well. They do awesome work, man. Insurance Network of Louisiana, and the best part about it is they're finding you better coverage for less money. They're saving you money. There was this AFR listener named Mark. They wrote his home and auto, increased his coverage by $200,000, and saved him $1,300 a year. He had been with Liberty Mutual for 10 years, never had it explained to him that you could actually shop and get better coverage and have another company compete and save you money. And that's what Insurance Network of Louisiana was able to do. A guy similar to me, although he's coming over from Liberty Mutual. If you haven't had someone independently shop to find you better coverage for less money, let them do it. Insurance Network of Louisiana.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
If I built a van, it would do more than haul.
It would carry my entire business. I'd make it available in dozens. Make that thousands of configurations.
It would keep an eye on my fleet.
And an eye out for danger.
If I built a van, I'd make it available in diesel and gas. And I'd build it right here in South Carolina.
Introducing the all-new Sprinter, starting at $33,790. Built in the USA. Mercedes-Benz. Vans. Born to run.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Auctioner.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is a local bank with a straightforward philosophy.
It's about doing the right thing for our customers.
Participating in our community with annual local fundraisers. Offering individual attention in a modern banking atmosphere with a trusted local company. Gulf Coast Bank invested in technology with a local touch, giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime.
We're building relationships through personal service as the bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
after further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Insurance Network of Louisiana. Call for a free quote to see how much you can save. 293-0450. After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
A lot of people are talking about the officiating last night in the ball game. And listen, I understand that everybody is going to talk about it. Brian, could you play Sean Payton number 4 from last night? This was Sean Payton last night after the game on those penalties.
Well, look, there weren't just defensive fouls. You know, there were more than just defensive fouls. But obviously, we're not going to win when we have that many penalties, and that we got to get that cleaned up. I thought we played poorly in the secondary, honestly.
100 yards in penalties a week ago, 129 last night. 10 for 129. Look, I understand the attention people are going to pay on penalties. If you've listened to this show for any length of time, you know I'm not the guy who's ever going to say that officials cost anybody a game. That really, really frustrates many of you because we went round and round on this after the LSU Texas A&M game. We went round and round on this after the Nola no call. That's not to say that there weren't bad calls and missed calls, but it didn't cost you a game. Like, you have enough opportunities over the course of a 60-minute game to make plays to win or lose a ball game. What I will say is, and I bring this up because Laura Giat in the Bayou Ford chat on the 104.5 ESPN YouTube channel asked if the NFL will ever change the pass interference from being a spot foul. I hope so, and that's actually something that you've had people, very prominent people within the league, like Bill Belichick has lobbied for that rule change as well, and I would agree. I think spot fouls for pass interference is absurd, and it was really against the Bucs last week the best offense Tampa had for much of the game was defensive pass interference penalties. The pass interference last night late in the ball game, the yardage itself wasn't as critical as giving the Raiders the first down, but I do agree. The thing that's very hard as a fan to watch is how difficult it is for a game to develop flow when good plays are not rewarded and bad plays are expunged basically because of penalties. The Saints make a really nice play with Kamara getting around edge, but Emmanuel Sanders is called for an illegal blindside block because he got in the way of a guy. I mean, what are you supposed to do in that moment? That's the thing that bothers me. A well-designed, well-executed play by New Orleans was erased because of a technicality that had nothing to do with the play. That's the part that's really difficult for me as a fan when I watch the game that keeps popping up. So to Laura's question, I hope they do change it. I would love to see more uniformity between the college and NFL rules, game clock, penalties, things like that. I think many of those things should be aligned, and I hope they do move to that. If you do need some levity, yes, the Saints lost, but the Saints didn't give up 39 points without turning the ball over and lose, because that would really stink if that happened. You know what else would really stink? If you had a bet on that game, talk about a bad beat. Hey, Brain, what do you think the odds would be if you were live betting Atlanta and Dallas with Atlanta up 39-24 in the fourth quarter, midway through the fourth?
I mean, when they're like a 99% lock to win?
Yeah. How about minus 3,333?
Oh, no.
That means you'd have to bet $3,333 to win $100. Somebody live bet in that moment $35,000. Dude was trying to win it. Basically, he was going to win $1,000. And he lost 35 G's. That's what you get for betting the Falcons, bro. It's after further review. We're going to head out to Vegas when we come back. A New Orleans guy who's got a sports bar in Vegas. What was it like having the Houdat's in town? We'll talk about it next.
AFR.
AFR is brought to you by GMFS Mortgage, GMFSmortgage.com. Changing lives since 1999. I got to share this story with y'all, man. I got this message on Facebook from Jerry. Here it is. Jerry said, Matt refinanced with GMFS Mortgage. He said, they dropped our interest rate by 1.5% by refinancing. took out a little extra cash for updating our 18-year-old house, and we skipped 2 payments. Easiest process we've ever experienced with a mortgage company. Thank you, Jerry. That's what I keep telling you about. They dropped their interest rate by 1.5% and took out cash to update their house and skipped 2 mortgage payments, y'all. The Fed lowered interest rates are making this easy for you to save money, to save cash, to take cash out, to refinance your mortgage. Do it. GMFSmortgage.com. GMFSmortgage.com.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
To all of our heroes working on the front lines of this COVID-19 pandemic, your bravery and selflessness represent the very best of us, and we want to say thank you. I'm asking everyone around the state to join me in celebrating the heroism of our healthcare professionals on the 19th of every month at 1900 hours, that's 7 p.m. Write a note of appreciation, make plans to donate to charitable organizations, or say a prayer. To learn more, visit 19thanks.org. Thank you, and God bless.
This isn't just another day, it's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is a local bank with a straightforward philosophy.
It's about doing the right thing for our customers.
Participating in our community with annual local fundraisers. Offering individual attention in a modern banking atmosphere with a trusted local company. Gulf Coast Bank invested in technology with a local touch, giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime.
We're building relationships through personal service as the bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
If I built a van, it would do more than haul.
It would carry my entire business. I'd make it available.
Callahan Injury Lawyer.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. Here's what's happening. 7th-ranked Notre Dame's game against Wake Forest on Saturday has been postponed after 7 Fighting Irish players tested positive for COVID-19. The schools are working on rescheduling the game for October 3rd, a shared open date. The Nuggets, the kings of comebacks this NBA postseason, find themselves down 2-0 to the Lakers heading into Game 3 of the West Finals tonight. One way for Denver to close that series deficit involves Jamal Murray, according to ESPN's Vince Carter.
Put him in positions where he has the big guard him on the perimeter, where he can get to the basket, get fouled, get some free throws first, and work his way out to the three-point line. I think pick and roll with he and Jokic. Of course, Jokic demanding the attention he does. He just needs to get some open shots and just play the game that he's been playing.
Game 3, 8:30 Eastern, ESPN Radio and the ESPN app. The Nuggets have rallied from a pair of 3-1 deficits in the playoffs. NBA Commissioner Adam Silver telling CNN his best guess is that next season won't start until 2021. Also said he wants to play 82 regular season games, a full postseason, and noted the goal to play games in front of fans.
brought to you by Cooper Tires. Go with great tires that do what tires should do and cost what tires should cost. Go with the Coopers.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios.
That's right.
Hour 2, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR, presented by Insurance Network of Louisiana. I'm Matt.
This is Shaq O'Neal, and I hate Matt.
Matt is what I said. Matt, sorry. Joseph Rodriguez.
Hey, Joe, what you doing?
Joking on my spit. The Brain.
Hey, the Brain got a poop.
And Mr. Toby Tomplay. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. So last night was obviously very disappointing on many levels. The Saints went out to Las Vegas and lost to a team that they really should not have lost to. I would imagine for Cody Tromboli and other business owners in Las Vegas, it was probably a little bittersweet as well. Opening a new stadium, first NFL game ever in Las Vegas. And when you're a guy from Slidell who owns a sports bar in Las Vegas, you would assume that you'd have a ton of Saints fans crawling all over your sports bar. But how does that play out whenever you're amid a pandemic? Let's find out what the day was like in Vegas. Cody Tromboli, good enough to join us from the desert. How are you, man?
Doing.
Cody, man, what was the... Well, first of all, give us a little bit of the origin story, right? So from the New Orleans area, end up in Vegas. Give us a little bit of the backstory.
Okay, so, well, obviously, Katrina came in 06, and it relocated my mom out to Las Vegas. And I went out one time to go see her, and she gave me this whole recruiting pitch, threw me down the strip, told me this is what you can be, this is what we can do. And a week later, I was out here, and that was my sophomore year of high school. And you know, I make frequent visits back to Louisiana, but yeah, this is my home now.
So tell me how the sports bar came to be.
So there wasn't many options for locals out here off the strip. And being in the casinos is cool sometimes, not every Sunday. You don't want to be there. Then they started charging for parking, and it was just it left a bad taste in everybody's mouth. And I was just trying to bring that New Orleans vibe of, you know, game days. You know, Sundays, you know, you get up, it's football, it's church, and we didn't have that. We still are still working on it, but it's a different breed out here. Like for me, at the bar, I have to have every game on because I'll have a pack of Dolphins fans. There's a pack of Cowboys fans. There's everybody's there to watch a different team because that's kind of how Las Vegas is built for a city. And so you got a little bit of everything. But last night, I changed that, and it was I think the entire state of Louisiana was in there. It was awesome.
All right, so do you all have restrictions still on capacity?
Yeah, so we are supposedly quote unquote supposed to be running at 50%. I think I was running about 150% yesterday.
Wait, so are you gonna get pegged for that?
Nobody came by. As long as they don't see anybody's videos, we're good.
Good on you, man. Where are you as far? Because like I'm at the standpoint where I go, man, I would love to see business owners start to just say, screw it, I'll pay a fine. We're going to open. It's the only way that we're going to counteract all of what's happening with shutting businesses down. But that's obviously easy for me to say. I'm not a business owner. I mean, where do you stand on that? Because Vegas and parts west have obviously been stricter than what we've seen here in the southeast.
Yeah, last night was my breaking point. I said if they come in and they say something, I'm gonna have something to say back because tonight's my night. I was like, we need some sense of normalcy, and and it felt like it. A lot of people in the bar were like, "Thank you for tonight, I needed this. It was awesome." It felt like we were, good. And so last night was kind of like that point where it's just like, it is what it is. If they come in, they come in. If they don't, even better.
Wait, so were the people who were there last night, were they locals who were Saints fans, or were it Saints fans who came from Louisiana to Vegas hoping to go to the game and ended up at the sports bar instead?
I don't think there was one local Saints fan there.
Oh, wow.
There was Arizona, there's Texas, there was a lot of Louisiana. So everybody that was there came from out of their way to come. And a lot planned on being at the game as well as myself, but obviously that didn't happen. So I told everybody, I was like, look, I'm going to make this about to the real thing as I can get it. And, I was trying to create that walk-ons kind of vibe on Poitras, like just, that tailgate kind of stuff, like bottles and all that kind of thing. So it was actually really fun. It was, I was telling my staff, I was like, you're going to see how I am and where I got it from, because there's going to be a whole room of me. And they were like after each score, the Who Dat chant broke out, and my bar staff couldn't believe it. They were like, "This is real." I was like, "No, this is what a real fan base is like," and the loyal ones. And they were like, "This is so cool." Like every one of them texted me after their shift and was just like, "I couldn't believe what we saw. Like even when y'all were losing, they were still in it." And I was like, "Yeah, that's just how Louisiana is."
Well, man, here's hoping there's brighter days for the Saints than last night, and for business owners alike. But man, do you have anything else going on still back here, or is Barcode your spot there in Vegas? Is that what you do?
Barcode's my thing out here, man. The end game is definitely to be in NOLA. Like that's a big circle for me. But I'll have to take over Vegas first. So
Yeah.
I'm looking to grow my second and third location soon, and to see what we can do with this brand. Coming from Slidell and then having all these people from all over the world come to Las Vegas with all these places that the city has to offer, they came to Barcode. That was huge. There was like a come into a sense moment where I was just like, this is unreal. Like like these people traveled all the way to this city and they ended up here to watch the game with me, and so it was pretty great to see.
That's really awesome, man. I'm glad. I wish that the game would have gone better. I'm glad the night and the day went well for you there, though, with Saints fans going out to Vegas, man. Cody Tromboli, owner of Barcode out there in Las Vegas, hosted a ton of Saints fans last night. Hey, man, thanks for a couple of minutes, all right?
Thank you, my man. Appreciate you having me on.
My pleasure, man. We'll see you. Cody Tromboli out there in Vegas. So how about that, man? He said they were 150% capacity last night. Nobody came by. So curious to see if
you saw that video from his Facebook.
Yeah,
huh?
Can you show that again, Joe? I saw that flash up for those that were watching it. I mean, it's tough to tell because you don't have the whole perspective of the venue. I've never been in that venue before, right? But it was shoulder to shoulder at the bar. I mean, it wasn't a socially distanced bar. I mean, look, you're at some spots of the bar, you're too deep. I mean, they were crowded. They had a good night, so good on him, man.
The one guy in the Ruggs jersey.
Of course. He had a good night. Anyway, all right, it's after further review. Glad you're hanging out with us here. We're brought to you by Insurance Network of Louisiana. Miles Brennan, Damone Clark, Jacoby Stevens all met with the media earlier today. We'll let you hear some of what LSU's leaders had to say as they move through game week, heading toward LSU Mississippi State Saturday in Death Valley. Glad you're hanging out with us here. Stick around at AFR.
AFR.
Brought to you by Clegg's Nursery. Buy local, shop local. Clegg's Nursery. Been so cool going outside, literally cool going outside with the mild temperatures this week. 77 degrees in Baton Rouge right now as we speak. It's an awesome time to start decorating for fall. If it's the ornate squash or vegetables, if it's pumpkins, if it's garden flags, maybe it's a fall vegetable garden. You can plant all of that right now, and Clegg's Nursery has the best selection. With 4 locations in the greater Baton Rouge area, they got full greenhouses. They've got Johnny Naylor seeds. They've got all the accessories that you may need as well. If you need soil or mulch, they have it by the bag or in bulk. They have it all at Clegg's Nursery. Siegen near Airline, LA 16 in Denham, Mid-City on Donmore, and the Garden Center on Greenwell Springs Buy local, shop local. Clegg's is partnered with True Value Hardware Store, remember? So whatever you get at a hardware store, you can also get at Clegg's Nursery. Tell them Matt sent you in to Clegg's Nursery.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
To all of our heroes working on the front lines of this COVID-19 pandemic, your bravery and selflessness represent the very best of us, and we want to say thank you. I'm asking everyone around the state to join me in celebrating the heroism of our healthcare professionals on the 19th of every month at 1900 hours, that's 7 p.m. Write a note of appreciation, make plans to donate to charitable organizations, or say a prayer. To learn more, visit 19thanks.org. Thank you, and God bless.
This isn't just another day, it's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Insurance Network of Louisiana. Call for a free quote to see how much you can save. 293-0450. After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
So another week of college football games and the announcement that the Big Ten is now back in the mix has altered bowl projections right now. And remember, the feeling that I had, sort of the conversation that I had talked about with respect to this conversation, was the fact that it really was a financial play with the SEC, in that if you were going to get 5 teams potentially in the New Year's Six, you get a payout, like a share between $4 and $6 million for every team on that you get into the playoff. So you're talking about, if you went from, say, maybe or the New Year's Six as a whole, 2 or 3 to 5. I mean, you're talking about having an extra 3 teams. It's an extra $12 to $18 million. That's significant for conferences that are losing money this year. But now you bring the Big Ten back into the fold, and that has altered a lot of these bowl projections. This was the USA Today projection that had as many as 5 or 6 SEC teams in the New Year's Six prior. Obviously no Big Ten. Well, now with the Big Ten back in the mix, they've got Ohio State in the playoff. They've got Penn State in the Cotton Bowl and Wisconsin in the Fiesta Bowl. So the Big Ten, they now have taken 3 of those New Year's 6 spots. If you're wondering, Ohio State, Oklahoma, Clemson, Bama as the 2 semifinals. National championship, they project Ohio State, Alabama. And then Cotton Bowl, Penn State against Texas A&M, so there's an SEC school. In the Peach, they've got Florida against Central Florida, so another SEC school. Then in the Orange, Notre Dame against Georgia, so yet another SEC school. So they project Bama, A&M, Florida, Georgia, those 4, all in New Year's 6 games. The team that obviously gets bumped out is LSU, who they have in the Citrus Bowl against Michigan. And while that would be a fun matchup to watch LSU and Michigan and Coach O against Jim Harbaugh and the winged helmets and the things that we've never seen LSU and Michigan play in football. They've never matched up before, which is astonishing. 126 years of LSU football, and they've never played Michigan. But we've all wanted to see that matchup. Maybe that would be when we see it. But we've seen bowl projections with LSU and Michigan before. But quite honestly, in my opinion, if LSU ends up in the Citrus Bowl and outside of the New Year's 6, that would be a massive disappointment, especially with at least one spot open with the Pac-12 not playing and still to be determined if they can get back in the mix to play for this fall and for this bowl season. But for me, I've kind of laid it out there where I think LSU's baseline expectation should be New Year's 6. And in those years where everything falls your way, you're back in the playoff. But baseline expectation should be New Year's 6. And I'd say, let's see if LSU can maybe pick off A&M and end up in the Cotton Bowl, or pick off Florida and end up in the Peach Bowl, if not the playoff. So just something worth keeping an eye, how the sort of national landscape could be altered come bowl season. But the really good news is, prior to this, the only bowl projections that were out there were for the New Year's 6, because a lot of the bowls are bowl tie-ins that involve Big Ten or Pac-12 schools, and if they're not playing, there may not be matchups for those bowls to happen. Well, now they've got, in addition to the New Year's 6, the Citrus, the Outback, the Camping World, the Music City, and the Texas Bowl. So you're starting to see that list grow. So the postseason that we'll see for college football is expanding closer to what we might have expected prior. All right, it's after further review. Glad you're with us here. On Tuesday, LSU made 4 players available to the media. It was quarterback Miles Brennan, and then the 3 players that had that got new jerseys: Jacoby Stevens, Damone Clark, and Chris Curry. And what was really interesting with the way this line of questioning with the guys went, there so much of an undertone was about Bo Pelini's defense. And when the schedule was set and we knew LSU and Mississippi State were going to open, while most people were going to look at Kentucky and Auburn in the opening weekend as the most interesting game, because that's going to be the closest spread. There are a lot of big spreads in these games. The most interesting is the one that's happening in Baton Rouge, because you got defending champ LSU, new quarterback Miles Brennan, Bo Pelini back at LSU. You got Mike Leach in the SEC at Mississippi State, KJ Costello, Stanford grad transfer quarterback. There's so much. There's just so many storylines and angles that abound in this matchup. And the Bo Pelini defense is a big part of this. For example, Damone Clark talked about what he likes about Bo Pelini so far, having worked in this new defense.
The change to Coach Pelini defense is just like, I'm excited to play in this defense. Like I said, I'm being the Mike linebacker. I'm the quarterback of the defense, and everything that I ever asked for is coming. So I'm glad, to be in the position that I'm in, and just seeing that Coach Pelini trusting his linebackers to get everybody to line up, and also being really aggressive. This is aggressive defense. Like I said, it's hit or be hit. This the SEC, so what you expect?
It's so interesting to hear that approach. You've heard Ed Ogeron say it so much. You hear it from Pelini. Now you're hearing it from the players. The players, what I've found covering this team long enough, players go into press conferences and so often reiterate things they're told by coaches. Almost verbatim, the things that are hammered into their mind by the coaches is what they reiterate. So the hit or be hit, I guarantee you that's stuff Pelini's saying to them, and we're going to be aggressive, fast, physical. That's what Ogeron says all the time, and that's what the players are going to say. You're going to expect that from the defensive front seven. Now, Jacoby Stevens talked also about Bo Pelini and the variety of knowledge he has about many different defenses.
I think Coach Pelini knows just about every defense there is. I mean, he has his methods, he has his ways of doing things, and he kind of twists and kind of edit some of his philosophy to cancel out some of the things that the offense is doing. So his knowledge of the game and his IQ level is out of the roof. And the things that he has me doing, has other guys doing is some things that I'm learning myself. I mean, I try to credit myself on knowing the game and being a student of the game, but I'm constantly learning under Coach Pelini every single day.
You know what the most interesting thing here in that soundbite, I don't know if the same thing jumped out to you as it did to me, is where he said, when he talked about I'm learning different things every day. And my thought was when we talk so much about Dave Aranda's defenses, it was Dave is so cerebral and he's the mad scientist and he's always thinking of different schemes and so exotic and multiple and all that different stuff. And the idea with Bo is we'll just get fast, physical guys to the line of scrimmage and have them go beat their man and get upfield. That sounded what you heard from Jacoby there sounded very counter to the old school mentality or mindset of Bo Pelini, which is just ears back, go get him. I mean, it sounds like he's far more detailed than that. But obviously, he's always had smart linebackers as well. When we think about back to when he was at LSU prior, when he had Derry Beckwith or Ollie Highsmith, he always had really good inside linebackers, and that's certainly the role that you'd expect Damone Clark is going to fill. Now, the challenge this weekend for Bo Pelini's defense is unique. I think in the SEC, it's literally unique. You're not going to face another offense like this with the air raid. So here was Jacoby Stevens on preparing to face Mike Leach's offense.
The thing that's hardest about his offense is that he's going to always put his players in right spots to make plays. He evaluates his talent very well, and he knows what they can and cannot do, and he doesn't ask them to do things that they can't do. So he does a perfect job of drawing up plays and drawing up things to put his players to maximize their potential.
The guy that's going to be most interesting to watch is Kylan Hill. Kylan Hill at 1,300 yards a year ago. A lot of people thought Kylan Hill would end up going to the NFL. He decided to come back, and I think the reason why Kylan Hill decided to come back this year to Mississippi State is although he ran for 1,300 yards, Kylan Hill only caught 18 passes all of last year. And when you look at the NFL and what running backs are becoming, it's no longer the plow horse that's just going to ram his head into the line 20 times a game and that's it. Look at Christian McCaffrey. Look at Alvin Kamara. Look at what Derrick Henry is a complete outlier in the current day of the elite NFL running back. What you're seeing is more guys like Kareem Hunt. I mean, you're looking at guys like that who can be more versatile within an offense. And I think it's very clear that's why Kylan Hill came back, is to see how he can expand that part of his game under Mike Leach to then put on for the next level. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, obviously. Don't want to forget him. But, I mean, that's a giant part of why Clyde became what he was last year at LSU and why he was taken in the first round by Kansas City. Maybe the seminal play of the season for Clyde last year. I mean, certainly, at Bama was the screen pass that he picked off his shoelaces, essentially, to get 9 yards to keep a drive going, which kept LSU pacing ahead of Alabama. I mean, I will be very interested this Saturday to see how Mike Leach involves Kylan Hill in the passing game, and that's something LSU clearly is going to have to be ready for. The one other thing, last thing, all the guys were kind of asked the same question about this LSU defense and who's the best pass rusher. Go to Miles Brennan first, Brandon, if you would. This was Miles Brennan when he was asked the question, who's the best pass rusher on the team right now?
Yeah, I'd say the two biggest ones, or three really, would be BJ, Ali, and Trevez Moore. I mean, those guys have, they come to work every single day, and those are three very aggressive pass rushers that we have. And I think they're all going to see valuable playing time this season. They work really hard, they're coachable, and they enjoy getting after the quarterback. So I think they're looking forward to Saturday.
BJ is BJ Ojulari, who's a true freshman. Then he mentioned Trevez Moore and Ali Gay, who's a JUCO 6'6" in Adonis. Wait do you see him in the uniform? It's impressive. But BJ Ojulari, that's a guy Ed Ogeron all off season when he's talked about the defense. He can't mention the defense without mentioning BJ Ojulari, how much they love him coming off the edge. That certainly tells you that's a guy to watch. Now, Miles Brennan just said that. They asked the same question to Damone Clark, and listen to what Damone Clark said.
I mean, I really don't know. We got guys that can do it all, but of course, a guy that I've really been impressed with was BJ Ojulari. BJ, true freshman coming in. I like BJ. You know, BJ is going to be a real good talent. You know, each and every day I see BJ, you know, improving every day, competing every day. So, I mean, of course, BJ as well as Trevez Moore, Andre Anthony, and Jarrell Cherry. Jarrell is a guy that many people don't talk about, but once he get his chance this year, y'all going to be talking about him too.
Jarrell Cherry is the all airport team. He's the guy that you might like get off the bus first. People are like, I don't want to mess with him. But BJ Ojulari wears number 8. You will see him on Saturday. Last year you had Patrick Queen wearing 8, flying around, making plays behind the line of scrimmage. Ojulari's bigger, 6'2", 230. He's bigger than Patrick Queen. He fills out that 8, but that's a guy you could tell. It's not just the coaches saying it anymore. When his teammates are asked independently and they all keep spitting out the same name first, worth keeping an eye on this weekend. We'll see if LSU can generate pressure against Mike Leach's offense with that air raid, which typically is timing, get rid of the ball quickly. See if LSU can generate a bit of a pass rush this weekend. But we're going to get to see Miles Brennan this weekend on the offensive side of the ball. We're going to get to see Bo Pelini-Pardue at LSU on Saturday as well. Okay, it's after further review. Glad to have you aboard with us here. Let me knock out a quick break. Spending a lot of the show today, as you might imagine, recapping and rehashing what happened last night out in the desert. But Rohan Davey is with us 30 minutes from right now. We'll get back on Saints Raiders when we return. Definitely want to talk about what has been the question many have asked today, which is Drew Brees declining? I have some thoughts there, and we'll get to that next. Thanks for being here. It's AFR, presented by Insurance Network of Louisiana. Stick around.
AFR.
AFR is brought to you by the Baton Rouge General Hospital, brgeneral.org, brgeneral.org, part of the Mayo Clinic Care Network. Baton Rouge General, always finding ways to continue to creatively expand healthcare to better serve you and our entire community. brgeneral.org to learn more about all of their medical services, to learn more about their facilities, like the Mid-City ER reopening, like the neighborhood hospital in Ascension, which is coming. It's right by the interstate on 74. I mean, if you're heading east, you exit 74, you go left. I mean, it's right there on the left. You can't miss it. Baton Rouge General Hospital continues to expand healthcare in the greater Baton Rouge area to meet everybody's needs. Yes, they've certainly done incredible work caring for COVID patients, but amid COVID, that hasn't meant every other medical need has stopped. And they've done it all during this time, and they will for years to come. Baton Rouge General Hospital, brgeneral.org. Online, learn more, brgeneral.org.
If I built a van, it would do more than haul.
It would carry my entire business. I'd make it available in dozens, if not thousands of configurations.
It would keep an eye on my fleet.
Get an eye out for danger.
If I built a van, I'd make it available in diesel and gas. And I'd build it right here in South Carolina.
Introducing the all-new Sprinter, starting at $33,790. Built in the USA. Mercedes-Benz. Vans. Born to run.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is a local bank with a straightforward philosophy.
It's about doing the right thing for our customers.
Participating in our community with annual local fundraisers. Offering individual attention in a modern banking atmosphere with a trusted local company. Gulf Coast Bank invested in technology with a local touch, giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime.
We're building relationships through personal service as the bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital. auctioneer.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Insurance Network of Louisiana. Call for a free quote to see how much you can save. 293-0450. After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Wonder if Sean Payton's going to hear from the NFL today. Probably be a little lighter in the wallet. Sean Payton, John Gruden both were not really complying with the NFL's face mask policy. Sean Payton was wearing his neck gaiter, almost like a turtleneck, and John Gruden was wearing his mask, really like a chin strap, just around his chin, not really on his face. The league has already fined Denver's Vic Fangio, Seattle's Pete Carroll, and San Francisco's Kyle Shanahan $100,000 each for not wearing their masks on Sunday. In addition, the league fined the coach's team $250K. So in all, more than $1 million, $1,050,000 in fines for three coaches not wearing their masks or wearing it properly on Sunday. And there's many that assume Payton and Gruden will be pegged as well. This isn't going to shock you, but the level of absurdity here is staggering. First of all, can we start with the fact that both Sean Payton and John Gruden have both already had COVID-19? The NFL has a policy where anyone that tests positive for COVID-19 doesn't need to test again for the rest of the year. So, Sean Payton, John Gruden, each have had COVID-19. They don't have to test for the rest of the year, but we're making a big deal about them not wearing face masks on the sideline. Why? Because it's for show. There are so many of you little snowflakes listening and getting at me on Twitter every single day who can't wrap your little bitty brains around this. This is all for show. I'm not saying there's no validity to wearing a mask. If you're sick, well, first, if you're sick, you should stay your ass home. But otherwise, if you're sick and you're symptomatic, certainly that can protect. That's why doctors do it in surgery. But this charade of we've got guys sweating, breathing, spitting, bleeding on each other for 3 hours but they can't stand near each other during the coin toss. Does anybody else realize how stupid this is? It's mind-boggling that there are actually lemmings, little sheep people. It might be you. It might be you. Who think that that's a good idea? I got a reporter in the first row of the stands asking questions to the player or the coach on the field with a mic on a stand in front of him. It's all for show. I'm watching College Game Day, and they've built this enormous set. Have you seen it this year? They've built a new set for College Game Day. It's a semicircle. It's enormous so that the four guys can each be 6 feet apart. And then when the show's over, they all go get on the College Game Day bus together. You think they're all social distancing and wearing masks on the game day bus? It's a show. It's all for show. It's a giant charade. I mean, Sean Payton and John Gruden already had COVID. Like, what are we talking about? You think a coach standing on the sideline without anyone in front of him, nobody, like, I've watched a million football games in my life. Nobody is ever standing between the head coach and the field facing the coach. That never happens, ever. There's always the get back guy. There's the guy who's carrying the coach, the coach's wires. I guess these headsets are wireless now. They probably don't even need someone who's, got. Anyway, there's always that guy, but nobody's ever standing right in front of the coach. So the coach is talking into a headset, and he's got to have a mask on. Oh, he can take it down whenever. But no, he can. No, this is the kicker. He can pull the mask down while he calls the play, right? He needs to pull it down while he's talking, when some projectile might actually come out of his mouth and hit somebody. That's when he can take the mask off. But then when he's standing there, he's got to put it back on. I made that one. Holy crap. I wasn't even looking. You lemmings, you little sheep.
Not to mention, when they're talking, when they're calling the play, is usually the time they cover their face with the Waffle House menu.
It's so stupid. Like, it's actually maddening, the lack of common sense, yet so many of you have politicized, like really everybody has politicized COVID. It's like, if you're a Democrat, COVID is bad. If you're a Republican, who cares? COVID, let's go live. Like, that's how everyone stands on this thing. It's so ridiculous that everyone's politicized it that you feel like you have to dig in on that side. You can't actually just step back with a little common sense and realize all of this is a charade. It's just a show. It's just a show for the public as people are watching on TV. It's so dumb. It is so incredibly dumb to watch this. To see coaches and franchises fined $1 million because the coach isn't wearing a neck gaiter on the sideline. The coach who already had COVID, by the way, who has no one near him, in front of him, and when he's talking, he can take it down, but when he's standing there, he has to put it up. And some loser on Twitter was like, hey, man, hey, look, we live in a society. I got to find this dweeb. Where is he? I know I'm name calling. I don't even care anymore. Don't care. Where's the dweeb? I got to find him. He said, Sam Hartman, maybe a nice guy. I don't know. Extra precautions are never a bad thing. We have rules that we must follow. And when we break them, there are consequences. That's right, Sam. Extra precautions are never a bad thing. So here's the deal, Sam. Next time you eat a steak, I want you to put on work gloves. So extra precaution so you don't cut your finger. Probably massively unnecessary, but extra precautions are never a bad thing, right, Sammy? I'm going to be over here living my life, y'all. You do what you want. Wear your mask. Hole up in your house. Don't go nowhere. Don't do nothing. I'm going to be over here living my life. Someone just tweeted me that the fines did come through. Here it is. Like literally 4 minutes ago. Here it is. Sean, here it is, 4 minutes ago. Sean Payton and John Gruden fined $100K for not wearing masks, along with the $250,000 fines to their team. So $1.7 million in fines for 5 head coaches so far for not wearing masks during week 2. Hold on, give me that sheet back. Oh, man. Hang on. I don't know where it is. Anyway, the kicker is this rule, the fines are put into place because after week 1, John Gruden was like the chief offender. He wasn't wearing a mask. And he's like, yeah, sorry. Like, he's like, I had COVID already. I didn't wear a mask, whatever. Like, he's like, I had COVID. I didn't wear a mask. The chief offender, week 1, the guy who apologized afterwards for not wearing his mask, week 1, who's already had COVID, is now fined for a week later after not wearing his mask, thus causing the fines to be instituted, is fined for yet again not wearing his mask. I mean, where has common sense in our world gone? Is it just over? Is there no more common sense? What we're... All right. It's after further review. We're brought to you by Relief Windows. They'll probably be wearing masks at your house. They'll do what they have to do to keep you safe because there's probably some of you goofballs out there who would want anybody coming in to wear a mask. Relief Windows, reliefwindows.com. 288-8138, 288-8138, reliefwindows.com. Windows, door siding, Relief Windows, and reliefwindows.com. Call Brandon Holly and the gang over at Relief Windows. They'll do beautiful work. If you're in a storm-impacted area, trust a company that's won business ethics awards. That's here long before the storm. They'll be here long after as well. If you need windows, doors, or siding, Relief Windows and reliefwindows.com. Remember, lifetime warranty on labor, material, and glass breakage. Lifetime transferable warranty. So you sell your home 20 years from now, the person that buys it, their grandkid throws a ball through a window, Relief Windows will come replace it for free. Windows, doors, siding, Relief Windows and reliefwindows.com. All right, it's after further review. Brain's going to have Tigers and the Pros coming up here shortly. I had intended there to talk about Drew Brees, this notion that Drew Brees is declining and that this is the decline we all worried about and feared and thought was inevitable. Rohan Davey's in studio in 17 minutes. Let me break. We'll do Tigers and the Pros, and I'll get to some of the Drew Brees conversation as well when we come back here before the top of the hour. It's AFR. We're brought to you by Insurance Network of Louisiana. Glad to have you hanging out here. Stick around.
AFR.
All right, LSU on Saturday. If you're going to be in Tiger Stadium, if you're going to be at a sports bar or watching at your house, you're going to have your game day gear on. Get that game day gear from Carriages in Bocage. You can show up with the same T-shirt or polo that everyone else is wearing, or you can go to Carriages or to the website, carriagesbr.com. Hit the game day tab right there at the top. So they got so many awesome offerings, some new offerings as well. The Peter Millar Solid LSU Performance Polo Sailor Mike in lavender. It's there at Carriages in Bocage or online at carriagesbr.com. Check them out. They've got that same polo, that same Peter Millar, that lavender with the national championship logo on it as well. The championship logo or the Sailor Mike, they've got it. So many great options. If it's shirts, if it's shorts, if it's neckties, if it's socks, belts, they've got you covered at Carriages in Bocage. Officially licensed LSU game day gear. Carriages in Bocage.
This is a house call. This is a test result. This is a prescription refill. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare. Start your virtual visit today at Auctioner Health.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
To all of our heroes working on the front lines of this COVID-19 pandemic, your bravery and selflessness represent the very best of us, and we want to say thank you. I'm asking everyone around the state to join me in celebrating the heroism of our healthcare professionals on the 19th of every month at 1900 hours, that's 7 p.m. Write a note of appreciation, make plans to donate to charitable organizations, or say a prayer. To learn more, visit 19thanks.org. Thank you, and God bless.
Service Master Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact Service Master Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. Service Master Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
If I built a van, it would do more than haul.
It would carry my entire business. I'd make it available in dozens. Make that thousands of configurations.
It would keep an eye on my fleet.
And an eye out for danger.
If I built a van, I'd make it available in diesel and gas. And I'd build it right here in South Carolina.
Introducing the all-new Sprinter, starting at $33,790. Built in the USA. Mercedes-Benz. Vans. Born to run.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is a local bank with a straightforward philosophy.
It's about doing the right thing for our customers.
Participating in our community with annual local fundraisers. Offering individual attention in a modern banking atmosphere with a trusted local company. Gulf Coast Bank invested in technology with a local touch, giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime.
We're building relationships through personal service as the bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare...
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Insurance Network of Louisiana. Call for a free quote to see how much you can save. 293-0450. After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
All right, wrapping up hour number 2. Glad you're hanging out with us here. We're brought to you by Insurance Network of Louisiana. They're online at lainsurance.net. Better coverage for less money. Let our friends at Insurance Network of Louisiana shop to see if they can get you better insurance coverage for less money. Are you overpaying for your insurance? You won't know until you let them shop to see if they can get you better coverage for less money. Insurance Network of Louisiana. lainsurance.net. lainsurance.net. Okay, Brain, Tigers in the pros.
Tigers in the pros. They still bleed purple and gold. They're just really rich now. Presented by Kentucky's Best Hemp. Find them online at kysbesthemp.com.
Got to start off with Monday Night Football. Foster Moreau had a nice grab last night. 1 target, 1 catch, 31 yards. Nice to see him get a look at all when Vegas' other tight end was basically destroying the Saints last night.
Oh, man.
That was rough.
It was.
Also from last night, if not for the box score, I would have missed this. Arden Key did not record a tackle, but did manage to hit Drew Brees once.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah. Pro Football Focus has their Week 2 grades out. What? I don't want to talk about this game at all anymore. I'm ready to move on. Pro Football Focus has their Week 2 grades out. One of those breakdowns on grades is of rookie lineman. Number 1 rookie lineman for Week 2, Tristan Wirfs. Number 2 is Damian Lewis with a grade of 81.
Not a boy.
Yeah.
All right.
I didn't get past number 3 because I'm not a subscriber. I couldn't scroll any further.
I would venture a guess that Week 1, Damian Lewis wasn't super high on that list. I did watch the Seattle-Atlanta game Week 1, and he had a little bit of a rough go. I mean, look, rookie making his first start on the road. I get it. But I'm glad to see he had a really nice game this week.
Way to bounce back. Will Harris had 1 inning of action last night for the Nationals, and it was a successful inning to say the least. 1 inning, gave up no runs, did strike out 2. The Nationals were a 5-1 winner over the Phillies last night. More on the Nationals-Phillies series in just a second. However, we'll move over to Toronto for the Yankees last night. Yankees didn't put up the best performance. Lose 11-5 to Toronto. However, DJ LeMahieu, 2 for 4 last night.
Cali High!
He is not Catholic High. But I did tell you we had more on the Phillies National Series, so let's go back to it now. Aaron Nola. There it is. He is 6 innings into this game and has settled down a little bit. Nola has given up 5 runs on the day, only 3 of them earned, however. He has also struck out 6 through 6. By the way, one of those 3 runs that came across the board, one of those 3 earned runs that came across the board, Andrew Stevenson is 1 for 3 on the day.
Attaboy.
Yeah. So a little LSU versus LSU action there.
Little nugget. Tying that all together there, Brian.
And that's Tigers in the Pros.
Tigers in the Pros, presented by Kentucky's Best Hemp. Kentucky's Best Hemp, KYSBestHemp.com. That is Lewis Coleman's company. I had a chance to chat with Lewis last week. Kentucky's Best Hemp. Make sure you check them out online at KYSBestHemp.com, KYSBestHemp.com. They gave away all of the free bottles of the CBD oil that we had talked about for weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks, where I was saying, hey, get your free bottle, get your free bottle. In the end, they gave away nearly 15,000 bottles of CBD oil. I tried to tell you to get yours, and if you didn't, well, you missed out because they're not doing that promotion anymore. But you can still save when you go to Kentucky's Best Hemp, KYSBestHemp.com, KYSBestHemp.com, AFR30. Use the promo code AFR30, AFR30, and save 30% off your order at Kentucky's Best Hemp. They've got whatever different way you'd like to consume it. If it's capsules, if it's honey sticks, if it's the oil that we talked about, if it's salve or gummies or cream. CBD is a great all-natural way to help with inflammation, to help with anxiety, to help if you have trouble sleeping at night. They even have dog treats. They have the CBD doggy bacon. So if your dog has anxiety, this is a great way to help with that also. Learn more, KYSBestHemp.com. It's all natural. People ask me sometimes, hey man, if I take this, am I going to fail a drug test at work? No, there's no THC. You're not gonna fail a drug test at work. It's all natural CBD at Kentucky's Best Hemp. KYSBestHemp.com. KYSBestHemp.com for Kentucky's Best Hemp. Use the promo code AFR30 and save 30% off your order. Rohan Davey in studio 7 minutes from right now. After last night's game, Drew Brees was asked about if he's declining. Keep play number 7, Brain. This was Drew Brees' response to people wondering if at 41 years old in this offense struggling out the gate, if it's Drew Brees' inevitable decline.
Well, my job is to execute the offense, right? And so I think I've always evaluated myself on being a great decision maker. And so at the end of the day, I'm gonna throw the ball to the open guy, move the ball down the field, score points, help us win football games. So that's my job. My job is not to have the most air yards or throw the ball down the field the most or anything like that. My job is to help us win. My job is to help put everybody around me in the best position to succeed. And that's all I'm focused on.
I agree with him, by the way. I have no problem with Drew Brees not throwing 50, 60. He's not Patrick Mahomes. That's not what he's going to be in this offense, and that's fine. For me, and the air yards he talked about that everyone's alluding to is the fact it's how long does the ball travel, how far does the ball travel in the air on his passes? And for Drew Brees right now, it's 4.82 yards through 2 games, which is the lowest since Brett Favre in 2009. Brett Favre in 2009, by the way, got his team on the doorstep, actually in overtime, from going to the Super Bowl. Remember that game? That Minnesota team did okay. That's not the concern for me. The concern is accuracy. Drew Brees' most deadly trait has never been his arm strength. It's always been his accuracy. Surgical. And that's what has been a concern. Last week, he had a crossing route to Jared Cook. He threw behind him. Last night, similar route with Josh Hill, where he threw wide of him. Those are the types of plays that we've seen Drew Brees make with ease for 20 years, 15 years in New Orleans. That's got to get better. The other thing I want to see, honestly, is just Sean Payton commit more to running the ball. Saints threw it 38 times. They ran it 19. You pay Dalvin Kamara the money. Use him. Hour 3, Rohan Davey starts it off next.
AFR.
AFR is brought to you by Shawbills Tire and Auto Service, ShawBillsTire.com. 18 locations in South Louisiana. Find the location nearest you at ShawBillsTire.com. Bumper-to-bumper auto service name brand tires at wholesale prices. If you need tires or if you need auto service, our friends over at Shaw Bills have got you covered. And let me remind you also, though, that at Shaw Bills, they are hiring. And if you are looking for work, maybe if you lost your job amid the pandemic, Shaw Bills can help you out. ShawBillsTire.com. They have paid holidays. They've got health insurance with the employer participation in the premium payments. They've got dental, vision, supplemental insurance, employee discount. They've got the tool purchase program. You get paid time off, 401k. They treat you like family. Not only do they treat their customers like family, but they treat their employees like family because they've been family owned and operated for more than 50 years. If you're looking for work, Shaw Bills is hiring. ShawBillsTire.com. Shaw Bills, where we keep you rolling.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is a local bank with a straightforward philosophy.
It's about doing the right thing for our customers.
Participating in our community with annual local fundraisers. Offering individual attention in a modern banking atmosphere with a trusted local company. Gulf Coast Bank invested in technology with a local touch, giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime.
We're building relationships through personal service as the bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Auctioner.
At Corval Toyota in Opelousas, you can get into a RAV4 for $3,000 off MSRP. That's right, $3,000 off MSRP. And we have plenty in stock. So come on down to Happy Town. That's Corval Toyota in Opelousas, Happy Town, USA.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
Hey T-Bob, sports wouldn't be the same without the die-hard fans, so we're highlighting the fans that do it the most.
Every week, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge brings you the Citizens Bank Fan of the Week. Check it out, 1045ESPN.com.
It's the Citizens Bank Fan of the Week.
If I built a van, it would do more than haul.
It would carry my entire business. I'd make it available in dozens. Make that thousands of configurations.
It would keep an eye on my fleet.
And an eye out for danger.
If I built a van, I'd make it available in diesel and gas. And I'd build it right here in South Carolina.
Introducing the all-new Sprinter, starting at $33,790. Built in the USA. Mercedes-Benz. Vans. Born to run.
Callahan Injury Lawyers.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. Breaking news, ESPN's Adam Schefter reporting. Raiders coach John Gruden and Saints coach Sean Payton both fined $100,000 by the NFL for not wearing masks on the sideline during last night's game. The Raiders and Saints also each fined $250,000. The fine's the same the league levied against the Broncos and Vic Fangio, Seahawks and Pete Carroll, and the 49ers and Kyle Shanahan. Center stage in the NBA tonight belongs to Game 3 of the Western Conference Finals. Lakers and Nuggets, 8:30 Eastern, ESPN Radio. Down 2-0. Denver needs one focus tonight versus LA, according to ESPN's Richard Jefferson.
Punching first, putting the Lakers on the field, making them call the first timeout after halftime or in first quarters. I think that's what the Nuggets need to do, is focus really and truly on punching first and putting the Lakers on their heels in this Game 3.
RJ with Chene Ogwumike and Mike Golick Jr. And this just in from Woj, Billy Donovan has agreed to become the next coach of the Bulls. 7th-ranked Notre Dame's game against Wake Forest on Saturday postponed after 7 Fighting Irish players tested positive for COVID-19.
Coming up Wednesday, the Lakers look to get even closer to another championship as the Nuggets just really want to get back into the series. Keyshawn, J. Will, and Zubin, Wednesday, 6 Eastern, ESPN Radio, ESPN News.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge Studios.
That's right.
Hour 3, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR, presented by Insurance Network of Louisiana. I'm Matt.
Love you, Matt.
Joseph Rodriguez.
Hey, Joe, what you doing?
The Brain.
Hey, the brain got a poop.
And Mr. Toby Tomplay. We're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. 5 o'clock quitting time. Glad you're driving home with us. We've spent much of the last 2 hours wallowing in the misery of last night's Saints loss to the Raiders. Loss I didn't see coming. Saints are the better team. I think when the season ends, we'll all look back and realize the Saints will be the better team throughout the course of the season. They'll win more games. They'll make the playoffs. I don't think the Raiders will, certainly being in that division. But it's the NFL. And if you don't come ready to play, you will be embarrassed. And the Saints were embarrassed last night. But I am very pleased to take a step away from the Saints Raiders and talk about LSU Mississippi State, as they will both teams will debut this weekend. And we do it every Tuesday. We visit with former LSU quarterback Rohan Davey.
Rohan Davey.
All I do is win, no matter what. Got money on my mind, I can never get enough. And every time I step up in the building, everybody hands go up. And they stay there.
It's now time to talk LSU football with former Tiger quarterback Rohan Davey. Presented by South Point Volkswagen and SouthPointVW.com. If it's on the lot, it's online at SouthPointVW.com. South Point Volkswagen. What's your direction?
Rohan, you ever seen a woman letting her concealer bake?
Yeah.
You still love it. How are you, man?
I am doing well. How about yourself, partner?
Man, I'm doing good. All right, so it's finally game week. Do you think preparation this week for the guys is any different than it would be like if it was just a uniform start for everybody across college football the same week, that first week, Labor Day weekend?
Yeah, I think preparation is the same. Besides the COVID testing and all that stuff. But, yeah, I think the preparation is the same for it.
Do you think in the college football you've watched so far, do you put any stock in upsets, sloppy play, stuff like that being because of the COVID delays and a lot of the on-again, off-again nature of the offseason? Because my point has kind of been we see upsets every year. Like we see Group of Five and FCS teams upset every year. We see sloppy play every year. Like, is this actually different this year?
I think it's a little bit different. I think it's a little bit different because of everything that's going on. And I think there's a little bit more parity, too, just now in football with some of these lesser conferences just being better than what we, a little bit better than what we thought. But you're going to see, you do see sloppy play every year at the beginning of the season. It's just now, it's emphasized more because you don't have, like you say, the rent and wins.
Yeah.
I think it's just a little bit more parity, Matt. But the sloppy play is going to continue until, until week 3.
I want to talk a lot about the LSU-Mississippi State matchup and Mike Leach in particular. So I'm kind of going to lean on you from an offensive-minded guy to give me some perspective on what it would be like to prepare for Mike Leach for LSU's defense, for example. So, Ed Ogeron talked about it yesterday, Monday at his weekly press conference, where he said, look, we've had to prepare. We had to watch Washington State film, we had to watch San Diego State film, and Mississippi State film to prepare. So, in what ways is this more challenging for LSU getting ready for this game because of that offense?
Well, it's because of Mike Leach. It's because of him and the offense. It's also because of his mind. So you're going to get the gambit of formations. You're going to get you just don't know what you're going to get with him. But the one thing you know is you're going to get something that you haven't worked on. And you're also going to get him trying to throw the ball all over the field, changing tempos, speeding up tempos, and just controlling the flow of the football game. But it's the first game, man. It's the first game for them as well with trying to run that up-tempo, energetic system. So it's not going to be, as if they're in mid-season form either. But it's just to be able to catch up to that speed at first, if they're even anywhere near, where they're coming out in time and everybody's getting to the line of scrimmage. Like the tempo is the thing that they do right now this early that can hurt us. If we're not set and we get caught in between, just things of that nature, and then you just don't know what you're going to get with Mike.
Do you think that there's a bigger challenge for the defense trying to prepare for that offense, or for that Mike Leach offense trying to get their timing down in an offense which is so predicated on timing?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's more of a challenge for him. It's more of a challenge for them to execute early in that tempo and with all the formations and everything that he's trying to do, because that's part of the deception part of his offense is a huge part of it. But if it's not timely and everybody's not on the same accord, well, that's when you might want to slow it down a little bit until they get on one accord. And that's what I think you might see. I think you're going to see some version of the tempo game and the no huddle type of thing. And I think he's going to go into it and do it as much as they've practiced it, or that they've worked on it, or that those guys can handle it that day. Because and that also helps without having all the crowd. Not having that huge crowd, and that also helps that offense.
So not having a crowd helps the offense because there's not going to be noise. Because
the communication, the communication. The communication is not that big of a distraction. That's where having the limited fans, hurt you being with your home field advantage. But yeah, not having a limited fan gets you easier communication, definitely easier communication for that tempo. Could you imagine them trying to do that tempo first game, Tiger Stadium, 100,000 buzzing? I mean, it'll be damn near impossible, especially for your first game and trying to execute and coming into Tiger Stadium and get that win with all the noise and expectations, everything like that. It'd be a whole lot more daunting task.
Most people censor themselves from going like damn near to darn near. You censored yourself from darn near to damn near.
Well, I guess I'm just wired a little different, you know what I'm saying?
Hey, Rohan Davey is with us. How does Bo Pelini choose to defend this offense?
Well, the one thing you good about is you got Derek Stingley that could basically take away half of a field. So Bo is going to have options on what to do. Bo's a very aggressive play caller, very aggressive defensive coordinator. So I expect him to use Stingley like everyone would, especially when you get in the lead, for him to lock down one side of the field, play some games coming down in the box. But to definitely have some base coverages that, hey, 3-by-1, 2-by-2, empty with back motion and left. This is what we're in. Back motion strong. This is what we're in. So he's going to have some base things and some base looks, just so when they go in tempo, that these guys know, okay, I can just get in instead of always constantly looking to the sideline, getting caught off guard. He's going to have some base things that they're just going to line up in and know how to execute and blitz and everything from those basic formations.
Do you think Darren Evans can have an impact in this game, having been on campus for such a short amount of time?
It just depends. It just depends. It just depends on what position you get put in.
Which of the defensive backs in a rotation do you like best at what positions? Because we haven't seen a lot of these guys, right? I mean, Fulton's gone and Kerry Vincent's gone.
I like Elias Ricks. I like him. I haven't really paid too much attention to all of the defensive backs, but the one thing I know about all of them is from watching them on film and also just picking the brains of some of the coaches, all those guys are talented and long. And when you see them on film, it's the same way. All those guys are talented and long. And one of the blessings is you have Stevens and Stingley, which are returning guys, which are leader guys, and those guys could piggyback everything those two guys do well to round out that secondary. So I'm looking forward to seeing how they've come together in that secondary with Corey leading that charge. But I think the secondary is going to be fine. They always are.
I agree. I'm just really looking forward to it. Hey, when we come back, I want to talk about the offensive side from LSU. Rohan Davey with us. Our chats are brought to you by South Point Volkswagen and SouthPointVW.com. New and certified pre-owned in Baton Rouge and online, South Point Volkswagen. We'll knock out a quick break, come back with Ro. We'll flip it around. We'll talk about the LSU offense. Getting ready, new quarterback, new passing game coordinator. How do they attack this Mike Leach or this Zach Arnett defense? We'll get to that next. It's AFR.
AFR.
Brought to you by River City's 1 Hour Air, where they're always on time or you don't pay a dime. 752-0001, 752-0001, 752-0001 for River City's 1 Hour Air. If your home central AC isn't keeping up, you can always call River City's 1 Hour Air. If you ever need a system repair, mention the Moscona special. Just mention you heard about it on the show, and they'll knock $25 off the cost just for mentioning you heard about it on AFR. That's at River City's 1 Hour Air, where they're always on time or you don't pay a dime. You hear me say that every day, but what it means is when you schedule a time for them to be at your house, if they're 1 minute late, you don't come out of pocket 1 cent. That's what they mean by we're always on time or you don't pay a dime. They value your time. They value your money. They work nights, holidays, weekends, after hours, and they never charge you extra to come out in those after hours. River City's 1 Hour Air. 752-0001, where they're always on time or you don't pay a dime.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
To all of our heroes working on the front lines of this COVID-19 pandemic, your bravery and selflessness represent the very best of us, and we want to say thank you. I'm asking everyone around the state to join me in celebrating the heroism of our healthcare professionals on the 19th of every month at 1900 hours, that's 7 p.m. Write a note of appreciation, make plans to donate to charitable organizations, or say a prayer. To learn more, visit 19thanks.org. Thank you, and God bless.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is a local bank with a straightforward philosophy.
It's about doing the right thing for our customers.
Participating in our community with annual local fundraisers. Offering individual attention in a modern banking atmosphere with a trusted local company. Gulf Coast Bank invested in technology with a local touch, giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime.
We're building relationships through personal service as the bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
At Corval Toyota in Opelousas, you can get into a new Camry for $239 per month or take 0% financing for 6 years. $239 per month or 0% for 6 years. So come on down to Happy Town. That's Corval Toyota in Opelousas. Happy Town, USA.
Bye.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Insurance Network of Louisiana, call for a free quote to see how much you can save. 293-0450. After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
All right, continuing our chat with former LSU quarterback Rohan Davey with us Tuesdays here during football season. Again, glad to have him. All right, Rose, so we talked in the first segment there about LSU's defense preparing for that Mike Leach offense. Now, let's flip it and talk about the LSU offense. Do you expect anything to be materially different from a year ago, at least from a formation style standpoint?
No, I think that the gambit of formations, Miles can handle that. He saw it all last year and had, the groom made it to see it and see where exactly the plays are going to come from. So I don't think that'll be the problem.
So what'll be the problem?
The problem's going to be, you're going, like it is for everybody else, man. You're coming into it with a guy that hasn't played and with a bunch of other dudes, and you got to see how quick those guys get on the same page. I think earlier on, this is going to be a run, play action, quick, get the ball out your hands passing game. You're not going to see I don't think you're going to see the extended plays like we're used to seeing from last year, to break the pocket plays and things of that nature. But getting the ball out your hands quick, relying on actually right now I think is the best part of the offense, which is the offensive line. It's not a lot of depth behind them, just young guys, but just the line itself and the running game, I think you're going to see some of that early and see if that play action work, get the ball out of his hands quick and just see what the defense is trying to give to him. I know they're definitely get there. I know they're not just going to throw him out there and just sling it around and start the game.
You think the offensive line's the best part of the offense?
Right now.
Why?
Right now, I think, because they're the group that's, in my opinion, that's played the most together. Miles hasn't been out there with those receivers. The running back have all of them at least have played last year, gotten their foot wet. Those offensive linemen, those guys have played. If they build a little continuity early on, the run game is what we're gonna see early in my estimation. I do right now, just because of the lack of Miles not playing. You have Chase not there, but Marshall's there, but you have the unproven other younger guys. So, that's why I say that.
Does Scott Linehan bring anything different to this offense?
Scott is a pro guy, clearly. I think he brings a plethora and a wealth of knowledge, and his knowledge of defenses and what defenses try to do to you offensively. So, yeah, he's a plus, man. It's just like when they had old man there from Arizona.
Jerry Sullivan.
Yeah. He brings a plethora of knowledge, man, and knows exactly. And he knows how to deliver the material to the athlete, and you understand exactly what it is he's trying to convey to you. Where sometimes with some coaches, you got to figure it out. He's very clear and precise how to deliver the information and get you to understand and absorb what it is exactly he's trying to get done.
But as far as because from a fan's perspective, I'll tell you, we all watched that offense a year ago go from what they were in 2018 to what they were in 2019. And it's easy to draw the correlation and say, oh, well, it was Joe Brady. Will there be anything like that with Linehan, Joe Brady out, Linehan in?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't think so. I think you're going to see a continuation of what Joe Brady left with the staff, and they're going to piggyback it, probably throw their own little curve in on certain things. But I think with Miles being a quarterback and having played, and he's not the same caliber player as that just left the position, I think that you're not going to see some of the same things that you saw with Joe. I think you're going to see more, we running a little bit more first and to see where we get to before they open it up and you see the Linehan influence with that.
Couple more minutes here with Rohan Davey, former LSU quarterback. For Saturday, both teams are running out new starting quarterbacks. Both are veterans, right? Both are guys that have been around college football now into their fourth year, but they're coming from very different backgrounds. Costello's been a starter, but he was at a different place, and so now he's at a whole new situation. Miles has not been a starter, but he's been here for 4 years. Which guy has the advantage on Saturday?
I think that the guy from Mississippi State, and simply because he's played, simply because he stayed, simply because he's lined up underneath as the guy, simply because he's practiced the whole week as the guy and all that. Miles' coaches, they have to do a great job. I mean, so does Mississippi State, but the coaches have to do a great job with Miles on Saturday of knowing what he likes, getting him comfortable, getting him to his favorite formation, his favorite plays, quick to get it ball out of his hands, get some confidence going for him early. Early success for him is a huge plus. So in that regard, I would say that because this guy has played, because he's going through the process of running the team and coming out as the starter and going through all the media stuff and all that before, so all of that won't be that huge of a distraction for him. Now, the problem for him going to be is you lining up against LSU in the SEC game. And that's where he go, have a little accident probably.
Did you?
Right there.
Did you see Mike Leach's quote this week where he said, they have some. This is what Mike Leach said this week, right? Or on Monday at his press conference, he said they have some new faces. I hope those new faces are worse than the guys who left, but intellectually, I know some will be better. It's so good. Like, I'm going to love having that guy in the SEC. I mean,
you have no idea, my friend. Oh, I love that. I love Mike Lee. I'm telling you, baby. You better believe it. He knows, man. He's not stupid. He's not stupid. He knows what time it is. Yeah. That is wonderful.
All right, receivers. Who do you expect to have big days on Saturday?
I mean, I expect Gilbert to have a big day. I expect the big tight end to show us exactly why he's rated as the number one highest ever tight end ever rated coming out. Like, I think he's going to have a huge day. I think the running backs will be interested to see what just different roles those guys play Saturday. Who's designated as the catching back? I'm thinking Emery, and you know what I mean. But who's going to be that other mismatch problem for or outlet for Miles in that regard? So I'm interested to see how Racy performs with his new role, being the true number two, in my opinion, at the receiving level. I'm interested to see how he performs, man, with that big body, that big frame, and can run and catch. I'm looking for him to have a breakout year if he stays healthy.
Really think Gilbert's going to live up to the hype?
I do, man.
I do too, by the way. Yeah.
I do, man. I do. There's nothing that I've seen or heard from whether it's coaches, trainers, other athletes that says anything different. All I hear is, man, you should have seen this catch. You should have seen this. You should have this. You should have that. You know what I mean? So, hell, I won't see it, baby.
I know. I want to see it too, man. I'm just so excited to see a game on Saturday. Are you going?
I think I might pay a little attention to it.
Well, no, are you going to the game?
I know. That's my way of saying yes.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, I don't know. I mean, I don't know the rules. Like, do you get a ticket? Do you get to sit in a suite somewhere? Like, I don't know. I don't know how all that works.
Yeah, me neither, but I'll be in there.
I will not be in there because I'll be here for pregame with T-Bob and the Scoreboard Show, and then I'll be I'll be at Don Juan Cigar Bar for whiskey and wine after the game. Me and Jordy sipping a little something, smoking a little cigar. Well, I don't know if the public can come this week.
I'm not the public.
I understand that. So maybe I'll work a way to get you in there. We'll see.
You know what I'm saying? I want to sip a little brandy, smoke a little cigar.
Okay. Let's see if we can make that happen, all right?
Jeez.
Do you want to come?
Yeah, what you mean?
Well, I mean, I don't know. It's,
The boss, you simply listen. You and Gordy made that happen. I know that. That's one thing I do know.
Gordy didn't make anything happen.
That's what I know.
Gordy didn't make anything happen.
Not everything, because he still got that same chair in there.
The chair in the studio? Yeah.
So maybe he's not the guy for the job.
What?
Shout out to G, man.
I'll give him a shout out. He didn't deserve anything.
Shout out to G.
Hey, before you go, give me a prediction on the game. If you want to give a score, that's fine. But how do you think the game goes?
I think the game goes. Defense is dominant. I think that Bo Pelini shows you exactly what he does, that attacking style on defense. I think that we start off a little slow on offense, but we're feeding the running back. I think we're feeding the running backs, and we're using the mismatch with Gilbert on whoever, and getting the ball to Racy and Marshall. And I think that the final score will be somewhere in the neighborhood about, let's say about 30-14, something like that, 30-10.
I'll take it, man.
Yeah.
I'll take that all day. All right, Ro.
And you know what?
Yeah,
that's with Miles having like a really good day. You know what I mean? Like for him early in my estimation, Matt, like he has to throw. It has to be something like 15 for 22 or 16 for 20 with 220, 2 touches, no interception. That's the consistency you want to see him play with quick and just get the ball out of his hands and let them boys work, man. Because they got animals all over the field, baby.
Well, we're all looking forward to seeing some of those animals on Saturday.
I'm telling you.
Rohan Davey, former LSU quarterback, with us every Tuesday, courtesy of our friends over at South Point Volkswagen. Thanks, Ro.
Always, partner.
All right, man. I'll see you. It is after further review. Let me remind you as well, we will be at Don Juan Cigar Bar, Jordy Collada and I, Saturday for Whiskey and Wine as soon as the game goes final. Fire up Whiskey and Wine on either the 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge YouTube channel or the 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge Facebook page. We'll be live at Don Juan Cigar Bar. Because of COVID restrictions, it is unlikely that we're going to be able to, we don't know definitively yet, but it is unlikely we're going to be able to welcome the public in for this first. But at some point this season, we obviously will, and it's going to be a ton of fun. But either way, join us on Saturday as soon as the game goes final. Let me also remind you, it's not too late to enter our Sazerac Rye sweepstakes. Coming up on October the 12th, that's a Monday. There is a football game that's played in New Orleans on Monday night between the New Orleans professional football team and one of the Los Angeles professional football teams, the one in particular that has a lightning bolt on its helmet. And we will be doing AFR from the Sazerac House in New Orleans that Monday. And after the show, our grand prize winner, along with 12 friends, will join me, Jay Ducote, some of the Sazerac staff at the Sazerac House to watch the game in their 4th floor ballroom. They'll have couches. They got a giant projector screen that comes out of the ceiling, open bar, catered food. It's going to be a blast. Man, come watch the game with us. To win, all you have to do is text Sazerac Tailgate, one word, no space, Sazerac Tailgate to 888-111. So text Sazerac Tailgate to 888-111 for your chance to win. There's other prize. There's a second and third prize as well, but the grand prize is to come watch the game that Monday night with us over at the Sazerac House in New Orleans. Very much looking forward to that. All right, it's after further. Hey, by the way, if you're on Twitter, just go to my Twitter page. I have the flyer pinned on my Twitter account, so if you want all those details, it's right there. Just go to @MattMoscona on Twitter, and you'll see it there. All right, it's after further review. Let me knock out a quick break. Come back, some winners and losers from Monday Night Football with the Saints and Raiders. Stick around.
AFR.
If you're looking for dinner plans tonight, Ichiban's always a great option. Look, we're in Baton Rouge. Why not try the Red Stick Roll? The Red Stick Roll is snow crab and cucumber. It's topped with fresh salmon, sriracha chili sauce, and tempura batter. Of course, you can't go wrong with the Moscona Roll. One of the best sellers since it's been on the menu. People ask me all the time about it. It is shrimp tempura, snow crab, crushed candied macadamia nuts. That's really for the texture. It's topped with garlic, butter, seared red snapper, which is divine. Sriracha, yuzu honey, and toasted coconut. And some people say, I don't like coconut. Trust me when I tell you, this isn't like eating an Almond Joy. It's really just for a little accent on the finish. The Moscona roll, it is divine. It is only at Ichiban. Essen near Perkins, Airline Highway in Gonzales. The Gonzales location, if you're on Airline, you're going south, 1 mile south of Highway 44 on the right. You can't miss it. Dine in or carry out the best sushi in Baton Rouge. Make tonight an Ichiban night.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
Well, the reason why I would recommend him because he's trustworthy. I mean, attention and love and respect of who you are, what you are, and the purpose why you came, he honors that. Once you're with Murphy, you got a friend.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is a local bank with a straightforward philosophy.
It's about doing the right thing for our customers.
Participating in our community with annual local fundraisers. Offering individual attention in a modern banking atmosphere with a trusted local company. Gulf Coast Bank invested in technology with a local touch, giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime.
We're building relationships through personal service as the bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
At Cordell Toyota in Opelousas, you can get into a Tundra for $7,000 off MSRP. That's right, $7,000 off MSRP. And we have plenty in stock. So come on down to Happy Town. That's Cordell Toyota in Opelousas, Happy Town, USA.
34.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Insurance Network of Louisiana. Call for a free quote to see how much you can save. 293-0450. After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Two things. We didn't possess the ball enough offensively, and then defensively very quickly we couldn't get off the field. And we're going to look at third downs. We're going to look at time of possession. The turnover right before the half. We're going to look at a number of things, but, we got to do a better job coaching. I don't think it's going to be a real pleasant film to watch for some of our star players as well.
Sean Payton saying it about as bluntly as you can. It's one of those ones where I don't think film session today is going to be very pleasant for anybody. We focused so much on what went wrong in the game last night, and I think that's sort of natural, right? When you lose, that's just going to be the nature of how it generally goes. You're going to focus on what went wrong, what contributed to the loss. But similarly, you often hear me say winning masks deficiency. Sometimes when you win, you're excited for the win, that you ignore the things that went wrong that could ultimately, eventually contribute to a loss. So let me do the other side of this as well. Like whenever the Saints or Ellis or somebody wins and we point out the things that went wrong as well, it's not being a Debbie Downer or being negative. Similarly, on a day like this, when you point out the things that did go well yesterday, I don't think it's being a sunshine pumper. I think just pointing out that there was some good stuff in there. If you missed the show open today, we'll have it up on YouTube to my full reaction. And the Cliff's Notes version is, as disappointing as yesterday was, I think there's some very legitimate, glaring questions that have to be addressed for this team, and you're naive if you can't acknowledge that. However, we've also seen this team struggle out the gates every year for like the last decade. They haven't been 2-0 since 2013. Even the team last year, they needed to rally and hit a walk-off field goal to beat Houston. And then they went on the road to L.A. and got crushed by the Rams, and Brees was injured. But they rallied, won their next 5, including a week later in Seattle when not many people gave them a chance. So we've seen this circumstance before. We see it really every year with this New Orleans team. But there were some positives from the game, and I'd be remiss if we didn't point some of those out. Look, we called out the offensive line after week 1. They got bullied. The offensive line got bullied by Tampa. 11 tackles for loss and a sack. Drew Brees was hit the whole game. Last night, no tackles for loss, no sacks. Brees was hit 7 times, but he was able to get rid of the football, and the offensive line was better, and the Saints did run the ball effectively also. The Saints ran the ball for nearly 6 yards, 5.9 yards a carry. I wish Sean Payton would have committed to running the ball more, but that's something I've been screaming about for 15 years, and I don't think that's going to change. Alvin Kamara obviously needs to be complimented. He's dynamic. He is by far right now the best player on the Saints team. Through 2 games, he scored 4 touchdowns, rushing the football, 13 carries for 79 yards. He averaged 6.1 a carry. He had a 20-yard run negated because of the Emmanuel Sanders illegal, crackback block, blindside block, whatever they call it, which is so stupid. He led the Saints in rushing, also led the Saints in receiving. He had 9 catches for 95 yards. And he caught every ball thrown his way. 9 catches on 9 targets. By far, the Saints' most valuable offensive player right now is Alvin Kamara, and he showed it again last night. They paid him the big contract, and he is rewarding them so far through 2 games for that trust and that faith. One more offensively that I'm a little on the fence on is Traquan Smith. Because Traquan did end up having a nice day. He had 5 catches for 86 yards, 5 catches on 7 targets, and after his very costly drop on the first possession of the game, his next reception, if you remember, he caught far off a tackler, spun toward the right pylon, and darn near got in the end zone. That was impressive. But I can't get out of my mind his drop on the first target. And I even tweeted, when that happens, I'm done with him. I'm so done with Traquan. Because the bad, while the good has been there at times, the bad has been so glaring and often in big spots. And listen, my feeling is there were 3 plays in the first half that completely changed the entire complexion of that game. Obviously, Drew Brees' interception led to a field goal. You had Marshawn Lattimore, who completely whiffed on a 3rd and 10 play. They threw the ball in the flat to Brian Edwards, kid out of South Carolina. And Lattimore didn't try to tackle him or push him out of bounds. He went for the ball, missed, and Edwards got 20 yards, and the Raiders ended up scoring a touchdown on the drive when the Saints would have been off the field. And the other was Traquan's drop. On the first possession of the game, the Saints were carving up the Raiders' defense right down the field on that first drive. They went right down the field. It was so impressive. First play, around end, Deontay Harris, 11 yards. Taysom Hill, 8 yards around left tackle. Latavius Murray, 8 yards. Kamara, 10 yards. They threw an incomplete pass to Sanders. That was his drop. And then they had a defensive holding, but Brees threw the pass over the middle to Traquan for 18 yards. Kamara, they were right down the field. They got 3rd and 3 at the 13-yard line, and Brees throws it over the middle to Traquan Smith, and it hits him in the hands, and he drops it. And I'll grant you, he got hit when the ball arrived. But if you're going to be an NFL receiver, if you're going to be someone you can count on, you got to make that catch. You're a professional receiver. This team invested a third-round draft pick, and they're waiting for you to come along and be that guy. You got to make that play, and if you do, it's 1st and goal inside the 5. The Saints scored there. They go up 7-0. Maybe they go back-to-back touchdowns to start the game. It's 14-0. The entire complexion of the game shifts. So, yeah, Traquan had a good day, but that one drop is so glaring, and it's like you wonder, is the limited amount of good bad enough or good enough to overshadow, to burn out the bad? The bad last night, that drop, I think, changed early the complexion of what that game could have been. So, jury's still out on Traquan, I suppose. He had some nice moments yesterday, but the bad moment early was very bad. And then how about defensively Trey Hendrickson? Trey Hendrickson is one of the most pleasant surprises, if not the most pleasant surprise for me early in the season. It's not to be dismissive because Hendrickson's played a lot of football for this team, but we spent all offseason talking about Marcus Davenport, and then when the Saints had the opportunity to nab Jadeveon Clowney, we weren't focusing a ton, really at all, on Trey Hendrickson. But now you got a fourth-year pro in his contract year, a former third-round pick who's trying to earn his second contract. And Davenport hurt. Trey Hendrickson gets the start out the chute, and he had 5 tackles last night, 2 tackles for loss. He came away with another sack. He would have had a pressure, but for obviously he pushed the offensive lineman back into Carr, but then his hand came down and hit Carr on the helmet, so it was a 15-yarder. You don't blame him for that. It was a great effort play. But Trey Hendrickson so far has looked every bit the part of a legitimate NFL starter at defensive end opposite Cam Jordan. And now when you get Davenport back, that rotation becomes pretty exciting. So, yeah, man, I mean, a season opener where he had 4 tackles and a sack against Tampa. He follows up with 5 tackles, a sack, and a tackle for loss. I'll take it, man. Trey Hendrickson has been pretty consistent opposite Cam Jordan so far through 2 games. That's pretty exciting on the defensive line. So, yeah, man, I get it. They lost. It's disappointing to lose a game that you really should have won. There were some good things, though, that came out of last night's game. And now the onus is on this coaching staff to get this team ready on a short week to bring in Green Bay, who's one of the hottest teams in the league right now through 2 weeks. You know, Aaron Rodgers has looked awesome out the chute. But I'll also say, man, Saints are still favored in this ballgame. Vegas has Saints as an early field goal favorite in this game. There's going to be a lot of people jumping off the bandwagon. But this is a great chance to plant your flag in the NFC hierarchy to say, we're still here. With the injuries in San Francisco, if you can knock off Green Bay, the Saints would very much put themselves in position to say, we're the best in the NFC right now. That's what's on the line on Sunday in the Dome. All right, it's After Further Review. Glad you're hanging out with us here. Brought to you by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana. Bluebonnet in Baton Rouge, Ambassador Caffrey in Lafayette, and online at theantiagingclinics.com, theantiagingclinics.com. If maybe you want to lose weight, Ideal Protein Diet. They can hold your hand and walk you through the entire thing. Meet with one of their weight loss specialists. They have the food all there for you as well. They'll weigh you, all those weekly consultations, get you on target to meet your weight loss goal. Maybe you got trouble spots, VeloShape, UltraShape. If diet and exercise can't lose that little, whatever it is, that little bit that you're trying to lose, VeloShape and UltraShape could be what helps get you there. So many other great products. As we move to fall, Faces for Fall is their promotion. Things like Botox and filler, all discounted this month, and hydrofacials. If you've never done a hydrofacial, treat yourself or that loved one in your life. Trust me, they will absolutely love to be pampered with a hydrofacial, and your skin will glow. The Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana. Bluebonnet in Baton Rouge, Ambassador Caffrey in Lafayette, online, theantiagingclinics.com. All right, it's After Further Review. Almost done. Otter told us to parlay the over, which hit, and the Saints covering the 4, which clearly did not. Otter's had a bit of a rough streak. Wondering if I might just do the opposite of what he suggests. It's been a while since he's hit. I mean, are we at that point, or do we just keep riding it out? I don't know. Maybe one more shot. Otterlocks next.
AFR.
Of course, you got LSU on the 2 this weekend, y'all. Pluckers, great place to watch. Nicholson just south of campus. Bluebonnet right in front of the Mall of Louisiana. 2 locations if you're going to the LSU game. Remember, if you want to grab a bite before you go to the stadium or after the LSU game, you want to watch the night games, you can get by Pluckers. If you need a place to watch the game Saturday, if you can't be in Tiger Stadium, go to Pluckers, either location. Nicholson, just south of campus, or Bluebonnet, right in front of the Mall of Louisiana. 24 flavors of award-winning jumbo chicken wings. Ice-cold draft beer. Full-service bar. Every single college football, NFL, Major League Baseball, NBA, NHL, whatever sport you love, they have it at Pluckers on TV in spectacular high definition. Dine in or carry out. Tonight and every Tuesday, kids eat free. So if you want an outing with the family, great, affordable way to do it tonight and every Tuesday at Pluckers. Nicholson, Bluebonnet, dine in, carry out. It's Pluckers, where if you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
To all of our heroes working on the front lines of this COVID-19 pandemic, your bravery and selflessness represent the very best of us, and we want to say thank you. I'm asking everyone around the state to join me in celebrating the heroism of our healthcare professionals on the 19th of every month at 1900 hours, that's 7 p.m. Write a note of appreciation, make plans to donate to charitable organizations, or say a prayer. To learn more, visit 19thanks.org. Thank you, and God bless.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
At Corbell Toyota in Opelousas, you can get into a RAV4 for $3,000 off MSRP. That's right, $3,000 off MSRP. And we have plenty in stock. So come on down to Happy Town. That's Corbell Toyota in Opelousas, Happy Town, USA.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Insurance Network of Louisiana. Call for a free quote to see how much you can save. 293-0450. After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
All right, wrapping up a Tuesday edition of AFR presented by Insurance Network of Louisiana. Better coverage, less money. Insurance Network of Louisiana, online, lainsurance.net. Okay, let's find out what we're betting on tonight. Otterlocks.
Otterlocks, presented by Hot Rods Creole. The way to Creole. Shop online, hotrodscreole.com.
The Oddfather joins us. Dynamite suggestion on the parlay last night.
Saints did not hit, overdid, disappointing night. Looked good, but that's the big topic today on our show is, is Brees done? The Saints not going to be close to what we thought they were going to be this year. So
I don't know, man. That just seems so premature in week 2 to jump to that conclusion. I mean,
but at age 41, is it premature?
Was it premature a year ago at age 40? I mean, in December, Jimmy, he was the NFL's Offensive Player of the Month. It's like, I understand there are steep declines, but
have you seen him miss those such easy throws?
I get it.
Or inexplicable interceptions.
Look, I mean, interceptions happen. I'm not going to say one way or another there. I mean, clearly he missed the read. That's not a physical thing. That's just he didn't see the guy in the middle of the field.
And how often have we seen that?
I understand.
So, I think it's up for discussion.
It's an outlier. You're in week 2. We've seen this team for 10 years struggle out the gate. It's almost like fighters, man. Some fighters need a few rounds to get lathered up and get going. I mean, a year ago at this point, Jimmy, Brees was out with a thumb injury. They got roasted out by the Rams. They were going to Seattle. We're like, this is it. This is the end. And they ripped off 5 in a row. So, I don't know. They're favored against Green Bay. Let's see.
I got you. It's I understand. But I think that, we have never had this sort of disrupted offseason as well. So,
True.
Some guys, does it look like Michael Jenkins has really got the tip-top conditioning in the offseason? I think there's some legitimate concerns.
No doubt.
And,
That's what we said for the majority of the day. It's naive if you refuse to acknowledge that there are concerns. But I think it's also way too premature to throw dirt on the whole season.
And I also thought they took advantage of Brady having all those new parts the first time out there. They didn't play well in that game. And you want to talk about how many times you're going to get this special teams play and this, once a pooch kick for a steal in a possession. I mean, Peyton with that challenge. I mean, come on, you can see that in real time.
Jimmy, he's been doing that his whole damn career. I mean,
that was earlier in his career. He was
no, he is the worst. Like statistically, the worst among coaches in converting challenges because he acts like a pissed off teenager. He's like, "Oh, the hell is this?" He throws the flag. It's like, come on, man, wait. You're gonna need that timeout.
He was way worse early in his career. But anyway, that's what we're doing. We're discussing these things. Tonight.
I got 30 seconds. Go.
All right, the Rays over the Mets. Snell is on fire on the mound. Lugo is the kid from Centenary. Really good setup guy. Some thought he should have been the closer, but he's kind of having a rough go of it as a starter. Modest price on the road tonight. Who cares? A road or home. The Rays -40 against the Mets tonight.
Where are y'all tonight?
Mike Anderson Seafood on Lee, just off of Nicholson.
All right,
You're
man.
right on your way home.
Get a Norman and some char grills for me. All right, Otter?
It is, yes, indeed. They are delicious over here.
All right, man.
Thank you, Merlin.
Y'all have a great show. That is Jimmy Ott. Game Time with Jimmy Ott follows us in Baton Rouge. If you are not in Baton Rouge, of course, you can watch Game Time with Jimmy Ott on the Game Time with Jimmy Ott Facebook page. Our chats with Otter are brought to you by Hot Rods Creole. Y'all get to hotrodscreole.com. Use the promo code AFR for free shipping. Hotrodscreole.com, the way to Creole. Brain, what did you learn today?
B.J. Ojolari is going to be impressive.
Joe Rod?
Never bet on the Falcons.
Matt, what'd you learn?
The Vegas barcode does not give up.
AFR.
Brought to you by the Williamson Eye Center, WilliamsonEye.com. 924-2020, 924-2020. or WilliamsonEye.com. Give yourself the gift of sight. Change your life. Not every day you can say, hey, I did something that changed my life. LASIK will change your life. Do you know? Ask yourself this question. Do you know someone who's had LASIK? Chances are you do. You know someone. And they would say, if you've ever asked them, they'd say it's the best decision I ever made. You hear that so often because people who, unfortunately, genetically have bad eyes, when you can't see, when you're given that gift again to be able to see, it's transformative to never have to worry about contacts or glasses or if you can see again. I did that 2 years ago, and it's changed my life. They can do the same for you, courtesy of the Williamson Eye Center. WilliamsonEye.com, WilliamsonEye.com, or 924-2020.
If I built a van, it would do more than haul.
It would carry my entire business. I'd make it available in dozens, make not thousands of configurations.
It would keep an eye on my fleet.
And an eye out for danger.
If I built a van, I'd make it available in diesel and gas. And I'd build it right here in South Carolina.
Introducing the all-new Sprinter, starting at $33,790. Built in the USA. Mercedes-Benz. Vans. Born to run.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.